Just one big joke. It's a fucked up world. Here we are in. I ain't going nowhere.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Reason Reborn, episode 45. I'm here with my co-host, Miles Morales. Say what's up, Miles.
What's up, Peter? You know, old, unimproved Spider.
I had to be Peter, though.
What's cracking?
I really had to be Peter.
I'm sorry, Luke Cage. My bad.
Thank you. Thank you. At least it give me. Although Luke Cage is cool, he's not that. What superhero would I want to be?
He's fun, man. Him and Iron Fist, they're fun.
Yeah, they are. I'll take Luke Cage for now. Rather be Batman.
Back on
in the wrong universe. So
I'm sorry, you can be John Stewart, Green Lantern.
No, wrong universe. But it's in the wrong universe though. So shit.
Yeah. Back off that holiday weekend, so hopefully people are rested.
No, because some of us just can.
Yeah, I'm bullshitting. I don't know why people say that. Like, why would you rest on the holiday? People always want you to do shit.
Yeah,
I flew out to New York and back. So.
No one wants you to rest on your day off. Like, people designate days off for do stuff with family, do stuff for me, whatever. Like, so. Right.
Flew up Saturday morning, flew back Monday morning. So
yeah, see,
no rest. Fuck that.
It's ridiculous. You basically spent all your resting time on the plane.
And doing actually a lot more work than I even expected in the few hours in between.
That sucks. Yeah, me with school and all, I end up doing the same thing. All right, so let's start off this with the bad stuff, and then we're gonna get to some good stuff because the world is not all that bad. This is a special week, people. Just know this. No matter what's going on, there's something to be thankful for this week. Okay, so starting off, a biographer who is doing a book about Trump called "The Truth About Trump." I think it just released. Did it not last week? I think it did. He was on the interviews. Yeah, he was. Yeah, nobody was, but he was on the interview circuit, and it only stood out that I only know the book was released because of that. Because in this interview, he made mention that in discussions with Vice President Mike Pence, that Pence mentioned that he believes that God was calling him to be president, meaning that he was meant to be president and waiting. I think were exactly Pence's words. So that statement is interesting because one, it kind of like fits with the whole like Pence is a psychopath narrative, but even more telling that this guy seemingly took the vice presidency because he felt like he was going to be president eventually, which says something about how he views his current position. What do you think about this?
I think it says a lot of things. First of all, I'm not saying we ought to have religious tests for office, obviously, but I do think it matters when you have a guy who thinks, no offense to the religious, but there is a magic force in the universe that is preordaining your presidency. That is concerning for many reasons. I think it shows what an opportunist he is. I'm not sure if I'm choosing to use that in a negative way, but it is rather opportunistic. And it shows what a lot of us think outside of, the Republican bubble. It shows that people in the Republican Party think it too, that this guy is ill-equipped to be president and he'll probably be impeached. He must think that there's a fairly high likelihood of that happening. Otherwise, why would he make this argument or assertion, I guess, that from his position he can take over as president? I think I'm vaguely remembering coverage on that book that you're talking about now, and I think one of the things said was that maybe he could come in the next election or whatever and do it. To me, that argument doesn't make sense because he's so stained by Trump's presence now that he would have I would think he would have a pretty hard time just being like, oh, look, it's a normal Republican. We can go back to normal. Let's elect him. I don't feel like that would work. I feel like impeachment of this president now is his best shot to do it.
It's funny because I never actually thought about that angle much, but thinking about it, is it that far out from the realm considering the state of the GOP at the moment? I feel like they just seem to want to go with the flavor of the week. And I feel like if you can get enough people to like be like, maybe Pitt should run against Trump, they would do something as dumb as turn on Trump and bat Pence and push people to I don't know what their like agenda. I feel like their whole agenda is like whatever it takes to get what they want, which I understand, but at the same time, is this what you really want? This man? Like, is he going to? Many people have said it time and time again. Is he better than Trump? You have a fool versus a fanatic.
He's better than Trump for the right, the political right. I mean, like from the perspective of people on the left or even just people in the middle, a lot of the time, no, he's probably not effectively better than Trump in that he's a fanatic. But for those people who are in line with the type of things you want, and there are a lot of religious zealots on the right, at least of the Christian variety, yes, he is better than Trump in that he's, one, not fucking insane, and two, more in line with what they actually want.
Okay, you need to do the quotes in the air when you say not insane. Because I picked it.
I'm sorry. True.
I feel like that man is a different kind of insane.
I rescind the argument. Trump has really raised the bar on insanity stuff. So
yeah, no.
I think it feeds into that point, though, is that he looks normal by comparison. Although if you were to compare him to the rest of the country, he's not normal by any means.
No, he's not. Again, we discussed this before. The man calls his wife mother. That's not sane in my book. I'm sorry. If you call your wife mother, I'm not trying to be offensive, but you got issues because you should not be calling your wife mother. Something wrong.
Black is not down with that level of kinkiness, I guess.
No. No, that's totally against that.
Hashtag rock hard pets.
That's an image for your nightmares right there. But yeah, so
you got this dude like just plotting in the background, all creepy. Just waiting.
It's just so fucking ridiculous. It just adds to the ridiculous element of this whole administration. Like, what is going on when your how many vice presidents do you know have been would you have, I won't say no because we probably wouldn't know, but how many vice presidents do you think were strategically positioning themselves in that job so they can somehow find their way to the presidency? I don't think there's any. At least not immediately. I'm sure there's been people who said, if I be vice president and I'm a part of a great administration, I'll roll over and I'll probably get the win. Like, I feel like Al Gore felt like he would probably be the heir apparent. You know what I mean?
You can't tell me, Biden wasn't trying that. You can see the evil in that man's eyes.
In whose eyes? Biden's?
Yes. Coming out here acting all friendly, throwing us off the trail. I knew what that motherfucker was up to.
Yeah, I honestly don't think, like, in all seriousness, Biden is like Biden is the perfect example of a vice president who's just like, nah, fuck that. I'm really not here for this, but if y'all want me, fuck it. I might as well, because I feel like this is the position he's in right now. Like, everybody's just like, Joe, why the fuck did you run? Joe! And he's like, I didn't really want to do this, but you kind of forcing my hand. Like, all right. damn it.
It's
I think
an
I
odd
might.
position to be in where people are trying to make you be president. But it's normally quite the opposite. Like you should want a president who actually wants to be president.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all right, I'll do you a favor.
I don't know about you guys, but I've never been bullied into a job before, so whatever. The few times I have been bullied into taking up a task, if not a full job, I've usually done it quite begrudgingly and not to the best of my abilities. But
yeah, I feel like for all the jobs in the world that you have to settle on doing, the presidency shouldn't be one. Yeah.
I mean, but to be fair, a lot of us were desperate at the time. I mean, people were like, Micheal, why aren't you running? Like,
Yeah, I know. Like after Trump got elected, everybody was like, Micheal, Oprah, somebody help. Like,
I feel bad for Micheal because she's like, I mean, I don't recall her ever having any political aspirations. So like,
no, all she cares about really is education and the kids. She just wants to,
sure,
which is good.
I mean, first ladies generally take up a task, I guess, but like, all of a sudden everybody's asking her to be president, which, fine. She's well educated, she's nice, blah blah blah. But what? I feel like there should be more to be president, as in, again, actually want the fucking job.
Maybe they think that if she gets in, she can just have like her husband be shadow president, Which I don't like that idea either, because it's like you're not really pushing for her; you just want him back. I mean, you know what I mean?
I don't know. She
it's
could
all
be
like
competent.
Trump has completely changed the way that people, the general populace, looks at politics now. It's just like if he could win, fuck it. If I like somebody enough, they should be president.
Sure, she's likable. I mean, she's kind-hearted. She's intelligent. She's inspiring to a lot of people. I mean, I still hear people like quoting Michelle Obama and shit. I'm like, what the fuck, man? But so yeah, and in comparison to Trump, obviously, but to be fair, like a fourth grader would be preferable to Trump in a lot of ways. So I wouldn't say that to insult her. It's just, yes, if we're going to compare to Trump, sure, I would take Michelle over Trump, but she's not even a politician. So
yeah, I need somebody dedicated to the whole cause, not just there because they feel like they can fix things. Because I feel like I can fix things.
Sure.
Don't mean I feel like you should vote for me, because I know I have no political background. I have an understanding of the way politics works, but I don't have any hands-on experience, and therefore, no.
I mean, I would say it like this: I could do a better job than Trump in that I would actually rely on people who knew what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, that's true.
To make up for the fact that I don't know shit, which is one of his biggest weaknesses. But back on this Pence thing for a sec, I think another thing that this reveals is what a lot of people have pointed out about this administration is that when he was running, they weren't really running with this idea of like, yeah, we're really going to make America great again. They didn't have this wonderful vision or whatever. Trump was just saying whatever random shit riled up his base, and he was surrounding himself with other opportunists, people who were, hanging around him for publicity's sake, for example, because they were gonna like spin off and do their own thing after they, what I'm sure thought was going to be a failed election attempt. After they assumedly lost, they were going to do something else, and if they won, then they were just going to come into the White House and whatnot and just kind of grift about. So he was coming in, he was surrounded by people who were just of that nature. They just wanted some sort of gain for themselves. Now Pence has a more traditional goal in mind as far as the type of gain he wanted, which was, a particular public office, but he's the same as the rest of them in that regard.
Yeah.
It was benefiting him, not necessarily the country.
Yeah, sorry, I was shaking my head because I got a notification that said basically Trump just tweeted about a story we're going to talk about later, which this man, stay off Twitter, sir.
So quick thing. After Eminem dropped his Kamikaze album, and it was getting all that attention the other day, I went on Twitter. I was curious to see what M, was going to say in a reaction to some of that reaction, and he hadn't really said much. And I was like, huh. I remember this phrase popped out in my mind. I just like said, I guess he's not a Trump level tweeter. And I just realized that like
few people are. They don't need the attention like he does.
I just realized that that's a phrase in my mind. Like there's like tiers of Twitter users now in my mind. I'm at the bottom where I'm on Twitter, but I'm not like tweeting as much as I probably ought to. Again, you guys can still hit me up. I am there. I'm just an asshole about it.
Send the description, so feel free.
Yeah. But then at the top you have like Trump level, who's just like tweeting every few minutes.
This man gets up. I wake up and I see a tweet that he just tweeted like an hour or two ago. Mind you, people, I wake up 5:36 a.m. every morning, and this guy has already tweeted hours before I've woken up. Like, how? What are you doing? You're the president of the United States. What are you doing, sir?
He's taking shits and tweeting. That's multitasking. That's a valuable skill.
4 in the morning. Come on. Like, seriously, that type of time of day, I'm not. No. Like, when I'm up that time, I'm pissed. It's the last thing I want to be is up at that time of day. I'm not going to be tweeting. I'm going to be laying in the bed like, yo, why the fuck aren't you asleep?
Hey, he was, for somebody his age, you think he'd sleep more. Maybe that was ageist or whatever. But yeah, I just had to throw that one out there because when I realized that was a phrase that's in my brain now, I'm like, wow, that is very telling of like how much our president tweets. I wasn't like making that up to be mean to him. That's just how I think about this motherfucker.
No, but it's obsessive. It's ridiculously obsessive how he tweets about everything. Like, yo, I don't get it. The fact that his tweets are breaking news, by the way, should tell you something about how often he tweets and the type of shit he tweets.
Yeah. As much shit as the news gets about covering his tweets, I'm sorry, it is newsworthy a lot of the time because he says some crazy shit.
Generally pertains to issues. That's a problem. It really does actually pertain to things. Not just like they're tweeting. Trump said he prefers a fillet of fish over like fish sandwich. You know what I mean?
He's weighing in on like every social issue going on, plus legal issues, plus foreign issues. Like, yeah, he does it a lot, and it's about major issues in the country and the world.
Yeah, he's attacking like important people in the world or celebrities. Like, yeah, no, his Twitter is a hotbed of news. Sadly, because he has to say something about everything.
I just wanted to defend the news on that real quick because I'm really sick of them getting shit for covering his tweets as though they're not important just because they are in the form of tweets. If these were like, you know, on presidential parchment or whatever, you know, like really official coming out of traditional channels of the presidency and they were just coming out at this rate, you'd be covering them and you wouldn't be running your mouth about shit like this. It's because it's in the form of tweets rather, that we're supposed to be taking them less seriously.
Yeah, no, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't understand it. Like, that dude have to have something to do other than tweet. Like, look at your wife. Your wife is beautiful. Have sex.
It's kind of hard when she's trying to climb out the window.
But negotiate at least something.
I mean, she had sex at least once. That is his child that she has.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, I wouldn't be in the mood to be having sex with a guy who's in the news for like fucking porn stars and playmates while I was pregnant or having my baby or whatever.
Raw dogging them.
Gross.
Like, jeez. Dude is out here like cheating on his wife without condoms. In this era, what are you doing?
Hey. Back in the good old days, they didn't have condoms, right? They weren't invented yet when he was
became full blown all over the place. Now you know the AIDS is out there and you still just ridiculous. Seriously, he's fucking ridiculous. I don't get it. All right, so moving on from that dumb shit. More Trump shit. God damn it, this guy. So I forgot to mention this when we were doing our rundown, but I forgot about Trump warning evangelicals of violence if the GOP loses in the upcoming midterm election.
We didn't talk about it in the last podcast.
Huh?
Oh no, that happened. No, I don't think we talked about it in the last podcast.
I don't know. Did we?
It's all things fly by so fast.
Things do fly by. Yeah, because I think we talked about the Pearl Harbor thing too, didn't we?
Oh my fucking god, I can't remember.
Yeah, you know what? I believe it was happening during that night. Gosh, she's getting mixed up.
So we probably didn't talk about it then. All right, good.
No, but I mean, he just warned of violence. Like he's basically saying that us liberals are gonna murder them all.
I mean, you're saying that he's just saying that, but it's pretty serious that he did that. Maybe not in comparison to everything else he always does all the time, but I can't remember the exact context, but he was giving a speech and he said, you know, essentially we can't let the Dems win because if they do, or I can't remember the exact context. He was saying the Democrats would engage in violence, essentially.
Yeah.
I guess if they lost these elections, if their blue wave didn't work out, there would be violence. I don't know. He's great. He's a crazy.
No, you're saying if his party lost, and as the victors, we were going to go on bloodlust victory celebration. Because that's what you do if you win. You just murder.
So he's stoking up this, I don't want to say fear necessarily. God damn, Selena. This fear of Democrats in general.
What the hell are you watching?
I'm watching you, sir.
No, you said Selena or Zelina?
Zelina.
Oh, it is 8 o'clock, isn't it? Okay, I just realized. I looked at the clock like, oh.
It was just a replay.
That's funny.
Fear mongering he has to do, which itself could lead to violence because then you're gonna have people just like waiting to fight because he's just stoking these flames.
Yeah, because they're gonna want to like get their guns ready to fight back.
To fight back against a threat that doesn't exist. I mean, this is just insanely irresponsible.
You're not talking about a responsible human being. That's the problem. Why isn't this guy a responsible human being? You're 70 years old. I don't get it. By the way, this man just made me turn on SmackDown just because I want to see Zelina Vega. And now I can't. All I'm seeing is Mars. And
Mars. Yeah. Her name is Maurice. And she's a wonderful woman. Yes.
Whatever. Maurice, doing mic drops in an empty ring. And by the way, I'm glad Bria's back. Bria's back.
She's fine. Although that dive she did yesterday, what the fuck was that?
No, for real, we need to stop watching wrestling and objectifying women. I feel like we do.
I'm not objectifying. What are you talking about? I mean, yes, I think they're attractive.
No, except for the majority of the time when we bring it up randomly, it's generally to say how fine a woman is. That's all.
I also say what great workers they are, except pretty.
Yeah, we do.
That dive she did yesterday was fucking.
That kind of does, like, yeah, I guess that's the equating thing.
I'm not gonna shit on her too much, but that was crazy. I feel like she just shouldn't do that movie.
That's why I just turned my TV off because I know I'm gonna look over and I'm gonna see Naomi and be like, "Oh shit."
And then after you say, "Oh shit," you're gonna be like, "She's a crazy athlete, though." Cause she's crazy. She's like fitness goals
athletic
on legs.
Yes, she is. Even though that's not my focus point, so I feel like I need to turn it off.
But yeah, this I don't know. I don't want to say that should be impeachable, but it feels like just the way he
Oh, there's a lot of things that he's been saying that should be impeachable, but I mean, fuck.
I hate throwing around that word lightly, but he does shit that is actually dangerous.
Yeah,
to people's
it's
lives.
abuse of power. It's abuse. He's abusing his power. Definitely. People. Speaking of people who say dumb shit, Kanye West has announced that he will run for presidency in 2024.
Scoopity poop.
I don't want to talk any more about that. I just know. Although on a side note, he's also dealing with rumors that apparently, who was it? Somebody fucked his wife. Somebody famous fucked his wife.
What the hell?
There's a Drake. Yeah, apparently the rumors are flying around that because Drake apparently lives near them, visited Kim and fucked her, and now like people are speculating, and Drake, being the asshole he is, after people kept peppering him with questions about it, decided to follow her on Instagram or Twitter. Just to fuel the fire. Just to fuel the fucking fire.
That's petty.
Yeah, it is petty. So she denies it, but his response was to follow her. So because apparently there's a line. The theory is that "In My Feelings" song is about her, and she is Kiki.
Okie dokie.
Because Kiki is actually her family nickname.
So, are we not going to get Kim as the first lady? Is that relationship over?
I mean, clearly Kanye's not the first man. That would go to Ray J.
That's petty. That's childish. What you just did, that was right.
And then clearly, I mean, hey.
I like how you're not even sorry that you said that shit or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I feel bad for saying something bad about a guy who said he felt like slavery is a choice. Fuck out of here. See, and then apologizes for saying, I'm sorry that they felt that bad about me saying this. Really? That's your apology? You fucking like asshole.
You're gonna regret all that shit talk when he's the president and you're in Guantanamo. I'm just saying.
He wouldn't even know how to like send somebody to Guantanamo. Whatever.
You're gonna be there. He's gonna be playing that Scoopity Poop shit over the fucking intercoms.
Instead of waterboarding, that's what they're gonna do. Just torture me with his rap, his mediocre rap. Yes, Kanye is not a great rapper, people. He's okay at best. He's just a great producer, and that's suspect too, since he's now farming out his beats and just mastering shit. So, whatever.
He's gonna give you some bars for real, bro.
That's fine. I won't be in this country to deal with his bullshit.
But yes.
Yeah. So get ready for the Kanye wave, people. For real though, if he really does run, I'm actually changing citizenship. Because again, we already seen this fucking disaster with Trump. I refuse to live in a country that will continually elect celebrities. I don't want it. We've had 2 celebrity presidents so far. One was a puppet, the other's an idiot. I don't need a third or a fourth or whatever. I'm moving. I seriously am moving.
Look, I'm sure we've learned our lesson.
No, I feel like we haven't. I don't trust this age. I don't trust the internet era. I don't trust the social media era. No, at all.
I'll throw it back this way, then. Who is going to vote for Kanye? First of all, would he be able to run with a party?
Yes.
Which party?
The Rockefeller Party.
No major political party.
Wouldn't you say that many people would have said that how is Trump going to win the Republican nomination? Yeah, who won the Republican nomination?
Like, he's a black guy. Like, they're not gonna do that.
He's a person of color. People will try to take advantage of that. We struck lightning once with Obama. They'll try to strike it again. Never underestimate foolishness.
You're making me depressed. Let's go to the next topic.
Well, this ain't gonna make you feel any better. Trump goes after Jeff Sessions over the week over several different issues, mainly over his handling of things with the Russian investigation and allowing certain things to happen. He basically been sniping. Sessions actually sniped back, but Trump has continued his onslaught, including with recently, yesterday, tweeting out how he was disappointed that Sessions allowed several, I believe, how many is it? Like 6? I think it is.
Was it 6?
It's a handful. It's a pretty decent amount of GOP senators who are under investigation or being indicted for different issues while they're running for their congressional seats. And Trump tweeted out basically that he feels like Jeff Sessions dropped the ball and shouldn't have allowed those investigations or indictments to go through because he's jeopardizing their chances of winning for re-election and thereby jeopardizing the chances for the GOP to continue to hold congressional power. I'll let you go because I just can't understand it.
Are you expecting me to make it make sense for you? Yes.
No, I honestly don't, because again, with Trump, you can't make sense of much.
So, as everybody is pointing out, he's just blatantly out loud in fucking public admitting that he expects the DOJ, the Department of Justice, to act in a way that is politically beneficial to him. Which tells me that, one, he doesn't understand that the DOJ should be, separated from him. They shouldn't be influenced in that manner. They need to be independent. But two, I think he just thinks the entire apparatus of government exists for the president, in this case, his benefit. Like, he doesn't seem to understand that the government doesn't just exist for his sake, and he can't expect every facet of it to be doing things for him. It's gross. It feels impeachable by itself. We talked, a few podcasts back, or maybe it wasn't even during the podcast, I can't remember, but it was about how people tend to blame Obama for the state of the Democratic Party now. And my argument at the time was that I don't think you want a president so fixated on the health of the party he happens to belong to. And I always point to Trump and go, like, this is what happens when you have a president like that. Granted, I don't think most presidents, who care about their party are going to be this corrupt about it. I don't think if Obama was that heavy set on caring about, how the Democratic Party was doing, he'd be this corrupt about it. But it is a problem, and this guy personifies it. I also think that it's odd. He spent so much time trying to bolster the power of the Republican Party, but it's not really because he gives a shit about the Republican Party or even really Republican values. It's because it's all self-interest, right? He needs them to protect him from impeachment and maybe from other legal issues, as they've been doing. So even to the extent that he's interested in protecting those people, it's really only so that they can protect him back, because he doesn't want to be overrun by Democrats.
Yeah, he doesn't want to face the law. So you got to protect him. Let him do what he wants. Keep him out of trouble.
But yeah, this is some banana Republic ass shit. Like banana Republic ass shit. Like, this is not how our country is supposed to operate, where the president is like, fuck you doing, trying to uphold justice on our boys. I can't even put into words how blatantly corrupt that shit is. God.
Which brings you back to the whole thing we talked about, impeachable comments. How is this not impeachable?
Even if it isn't in isolation, just add it to the mountain of things that he's said pretty much every day. Like, what does he have to... Who was it? I think Giuliani made this point, and a lot of us, you know, laugh at it, but it does seem to hold a little merit. He makes the point that, you know, because Trump says this type of shit in public, you know, he's not hiding anything. It's not corrupt or secret. He's saying it out loud. Why would he say it out loud if it was blah, blah, blah? Which is a stupid argument, but the point that it alludes to is that if we caught him like on tape, you know, saying these things in secret, I think it would be a lot more obvious that it's wrong to people than it is now, because he just says it with no shame at all.
And that's why I feel like that, like, I understand what you're saying, but for me, I feel like it's a lot worse that he is blatantly telling you, don't follow the letter of the law. Do what's best for, like, everybody, for the party. Ignore the law. Ignore your duty. Like, I don't know.
No, it's
no.
It's not just bad. I do agree that it's worse. Partially because I think it looks bad on the global stage. But it seems like it doesn't trigger a lot of people's common sense, I guess. Because it's not like the news uncovered this, you know, dark secret than you would normally see. It's like that context is fucking it up for people, because the news people didn't just like come in on this conspiracy. He just says it out loud all the time on fucking Twitter like it's normal, thus making it kind of normal.
But no, like, if it was any other country, like, say we flash back about 20 years ago, Fidel Castro is, like, you know, in the height of his power, and he was on some type of social media or whatever, and he was tweeting about, like, the things that we used to be scared of him for, and found offensive, that this guy is a dictator. He's controlling his whole country. He's basically not, you know, there's no democracy. It's just all about what he wants, when he wants, how he wants. We would be livid. We've killed leaders. We've arrested people like Noriega. We've killed people like what's his name? The guy that Obama killed, that he said he regretted that he did that in Libya. Gaddafi.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like, we've surgically gone after people who talk like this man, but we seem to want to, like, I won't say we, but there's enough of us in this country that is accepted of the type of things that he talked about. Things that in any other country, any other situation, we'd find like unacceptable and would want to see that person either brought to justice or killed. Why does he get exempt from that? It's ridiculous. It's just totally fucking ridiculous, and it bothers me, and I hate that my eyelashes are always breaking off and falling into my eyes. They're irritating. Oh my god.
Your body's a heel.
It is. It so is a heel.
But I heard the argument made once that, you know, one of the issues with the American populace, which I guess is kind of a double-edged sword, is that we never really had to live with, you know, a leader that was like that. You know, they made the point, like, these other countries, they have a history of having leaders like that, and then, you know, they built a democracy and got away from it, whereas we didn't quite have that, you know, from the inception. You know, we designed the country a specific way because of what was seen in Europe and whatnot. So at least in recent memory, for a lot of people, we're just not that accustomed to seeing leaders like that, homegrown. And their point was that we don't know how to deal with it, or we don't have a good appreciation for how dangerous it really is, because we never see it up close. And nobody really tries that here.
Yeah, that must be it, because we are way too acceptant of, like, his shenanigans.
I think to your point, if we saw it in another country, it would be more obviously wrong because it's not America. I think a lot of people are just like, well, it's happening in America, and America wouldn't do dumb shit like this, so it's obviously not wrong. I don't think they're thinking it that explicitly, but like, I think because it's in the American context and we haven't like put him in prison or anything yet, we're not giving the proper signals that it's not okay. It really doesn't help that, you know, the majority, the political party with the majorities in the House and Senate are not doing anything about it ever, thus making it also seem okay. But we need to start sending the right signals quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah, by the way, I did turn SmackDown back on because you said it's only the Vega. Damn you.
Said like 20 minutes ago.
I know. Anyway.
And to compliment her on something other than her looks, she is really awesome on the mic.
Athletic too. And
yeah, she is.
She's great on the mic.
I was listening to an interview with her and, you know, Andrade the other day, and I was like, man, she's just a great talker, smooth, eloquent, creative. Makes me jealous because I can't talk for shit.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we do a podcast.
Thinking I've practiced by now.
Right, exactly. God damn it, I want mic skills like them. So moving forward with the shenanigans, I think we're almost done with the shenanigans. So outrage. Nike has decided to include Colin Kaepernick as one of the ambassadors for their new upcoming campaign. To be fair, there's 6 people. And I forget who the other people are, but nobody else cares about that because all they know is Colin Kaepernick is now an ambassador for a Nike ad campaign. And you got half the world thinking, fuck yeah, let's go get some Nikes. And the other half, fuck no, fuck you, Nike. I'm going to burn it all, even though I spent hundreds of dollars on this overpriced shit. I'm not going to like fucking give it to charity, like many people have been suggesting that these people outraged should do. I'm not going to give it to veterans, which, if you remember, a lot of people's issues with Colin Kaepernick is because he didn't stand for the national anthem while playing football in protest to inequality, and everybody decided no, it's because you hate veterans. But you don't want to give your shit to veterans, you want to burn it because these poor veterans who don't have, like, you know, the means to support themselves, they couldn't use a pair of shoes. Well, fuck, burn these $200 pair of shoes, god damn it, to show Nike how displeased you are, even though Nike already has your money. And you can't get it back now because you done burnt the product. So, yay. Like the whole fucking shit, like, to me, when I first saw people were doing it, like, it was this one prominent thing. I didn't send you that, but the first thing I saw was this country music singer, and I can't remember his name because fuck him, and I'm not a fan of country, so why would I know who he is? But he tweeted a picture of his like sound man cutting up his Nike socks, which I say bullshit because he didn't cut his socks. He just bought a pair of Nike socks, cut them, and then he took a photo for you because he's a tool. But yeah, I don't understand what's the purpose of destroying your own property. I still don't understand that. Like, sir, can you help me out?
No, it's a childish way to deal with something. I mean, if I think one of my shoes around here, a couple of my shoes are probably Nikes. Not because I would give a shit about their brand. It's just they're popular. So a lot of the shoes that I have a choice from happen to be Nikes. If they're top brass, you know, we suddenly discovered that they were super racist, I wouldn't set my shoes on fire. At most, I might not wear them, but even that, it's just a weird instinct to just break shit in protest. Is this counterproductive? You already bought the shit. You could make better use of it by giving it to somebody who could actually use it and doesn't care. But beyond just breaking your own stuff, This is a stupid issue. Yeah, I don't follow the footballs, but like, has that Kaepernick dude been working since all this started?
No.
What does he do with his life when he's
Now,
not footballing?
now to be somewhat fair, even though I think this is something that people take a little too far, he had been offered a couple of jobs after. He was kind of lowballed, of course, because they were like, well, you need a job, so come take this. And he was like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Jobs not playing the footballs?
Yeah, playing football. Like one team, like I remember one exec, John Elway, who's now it was star quarterback turned executive of the team he played for. When asked the question like, are you guys like, you know, trying to keep him out of the league? He was like, well, we didn't because we offered him a contract for a backup position, but he declined it. So you can't say that we colluded. And this like the offer was like a very, very low one because this is a guy who came off of a like, you know, multi-million-dollar contract and being offered peanuts, I guess, I'm assuming. And he was like, no, I'm good. I don't want that. Which is his right. You don't have to take a job if you feel like you're not going to pay him his work. But yeah, for the most part, people feel like the owners have been colluding, and apparently the courts think so too because he won a major decision. The owners tried to get the court to actually drop his case. They made an appeal, and the judge denied it. So they're going to take this to trial. Which means that there must be something there that they feel like it's worth discussing. Which is bad for the NFL, by the way. If you're an NFL fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. But if he is able to prove that at least 14 teams were involved in colluding against him, there's 32 teams in the NFL, so all he needs is to convince the judge that 14 of them actually did this. They are, of course, liable for his case, and also that breaks the CBA, the bargaining agreement, the collective bargaining agreement that they came up with, which basically like is the like governing documentation that sets all the rules for what players' rights are and things like that, which players have complained about. So if he could break that, then that means the NFL has to go back and renegotiate the collective bargaining, and the players will have a more powerful position because they now have proof that the NFL is treating players dirty, not just colluding against him, but it builds to their argument that the owners are unfair to players. So, good job, NFL. But yeah, Nike's going to include him. Of course, there's been many people outraged, tweeting against, saying they'll never wear a Nike again. It's interesting because, again, you got fools burning themselves and their stuff because of this. And meanwhile, Nike's not batting an eye at this. They actually came out with a statement, I think, today defending it. So...
Well, I feel like they have enough money. They don't need to bat a fucking eye at something like this.
I agree.
I mean, like I said, the reason I have Nike shoes is not because I really care to have Nike shoes. They're just the shoes. So, now I made this point to you earlier. I don't feel like the type of people who are freaking out like this are necessarily Nike's biggest supporters anyway, as far as buying their merchandise goes. They probably have the merchandise, but it's not like they're... Before this, they were these Nike shills that just went out and bought every fucking thing that they put out there. So
they're not the people standing in line to buy a pair of Air Jordans.
Right. I don't see what point they're trying to make. Like, they probably weren't the majority of Nike's fan base or customer base anyway. So what effect do you think you're having? What would really be funny to me is if somebody went out and bought that shit and then destroyed it.
I really think that's what a lot of is happening, though, because you just mentioned, like, you don't think a lot of them are people who buy their stuff. I do feel like there's a lot of people going out and buying their stuff just so they could fuck it up and make a statement, which, again, make sense to me. I'm not going out of my way to spend my hard-earned money on a product that I feel like I'm claiming I'm outraged by, just so I can like make some type of like declaration of how much I hate them by destroying something that I just fucking spent money on. That receipt's fresh. You can get a return within 7 days, but no, you choose to damage the property beyond return.
Sure. Yeah. But again, it just seems like such a stupid level of anger at this issue. Going back to just this kneeling thing in general, like how out of control this thing has gotten. Even if you don't agree with his kneeling or why he's kneeling, it's really not that offensive. Like, the fact that people are still this angry years later is insane.
Yeah. It's and y'all make it an issue because y'all want it to be an issue. No one else did that. That's the funny part about it. Is that no one else has really made it that big of an issue. It's just so weird. All right, final major topic, and then we'll get to the fun stuff. So the Senate hearing of Brett Kavanaugh is now undergoing, or should I say, it started because the Democrats basically motioned to have it halted or like close the day's proceedings. So I think they closed early today. Did they? Did they stop the hearing early today?
I saw some of the hearing, but I haven't caught up on it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I saw a couple of clips and it's just a shit show. They had massive protesters before the hearing, which kind of delayed it.
Before, because there were motherfuckers protesting during, like these.
Yeah,
there were a lot of women.
I saw somebody during like
a
Cory Booker point jump up and raise a sign like he was at WWE SmackDown cheering on somebody. Like, seriously.
I can hear what some of them were saying, but like, yo, some of these ladies were going wild.
Yeah, the look on Becky's face, by the way.
I watched like maybe 20, 30 minutes of not even really the hearing, more like the beginning attempting to go into this hearing because they just could not get started.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting hearing because we and you were talking about this before the podcast about like some of the stuff that he's been connected to, like that little girl, and how he seemingly maneuvered to try to block her from getting a abortion. Long story short, there was someone who was being held at the Texas border. A 17-year-old girl got pregnant, wanted an abortion, raised the money to get the abortion, and got cleared with a doctor. And then basically they barred her from going to the doctor to get an abortion. They brought it to trial, the ACLU, and Kavanaugh was presiding over it and basically denied her motion to be allowed to get her abortion. And it was kind of weird to see him maneuver into like the whole situation where he could delay it to where she may be at the point where she couldn't get a abortion. I believe, if I read that correctly, all ended well for her. At least she got what she wanted because another court dismissed the timetable or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it worked out for her, I guess. But
it highlighted one of the issues that people have because a lot of people have been thinking that Kavanaugh is going to be that one guy that makes the Supreme Court so unbalanced that anything the GOP wants, anything religious fanatics wants, they will all get it because he'll play ball, and him and what's the name of the guy from last year that Trump got? Is it
Gorsuch?
Gorsuch, yeah. They believe they'll basically tag team together and just like roll any policies that Trump wants through. Because you only will have, I believe, 4 Democratic or independent Supreme Court justices, so they can get a majority every time.
Yeah. What was it? The chairman of that committee overseeing that hearing, he made an argument at one point, and he said something like, a judge in general does not and should not rule based on what they would like the outcome to be. They should be ruling according to the law. And I guess making the point that you could at least assume Kavanaugh is going to act in that same capacity. Well, first of all, that case you just mentioned is a clear counterexample to that. But more to the point, the Republicans put this guy up there for the specific reason that they believe that he will rule in the way they want, not necessarily to, well, I shouldn't say rule, interpret the Constitution, whatever you want to describe the Supreme Court's job as being. They believe that he's going to act in accordance with what they want. That's why they put him up there. They had the, what's the name of that organization that gave Trump that list of judges to pick from? Oh my God. I can't remember. There's like that, conservative organization that produced that list of judges that Trump picked from. And they produced that list specifically of people who they thought would, act in their favor. That's why this is such an issue. They've already been politicizing this. They're making this all a political issue with the Supreme Court.
I fucking brought her up, and here she is. Anyway,
what's that?
Remember I mentioned Naomi?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, thank you for blessing us, sir. All right, pervert, chill out.
What am I being perverted about?
That fucking look on your face.
No, because I just love her intro, because it's so fucking cool when she does the slide shit. I feel like they didn't offer her the proper ramp this time to do the proper slide. Get your shit together, WWE.
It is cool.
Well, that comes on tonight. I have to watch that. We have to finish by 10 o'clock because I need to watch The Purge.
Oh my God.
No, I want to see that TV show. I seriously think that TV show might be interesting because I feel like they're doing it right. They're just doing 10 separate shows. They're not doing like a continued story within this world. I feel like if you were going to do a Last of Us TV show, that's how Last of Us should be. Just 10 different separate episodes following different people showing how they are surviving this fucked up shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're just trying to figure out how to prepare for when we start doing that shit.
I mean, fuck, we that close. And I would hope that The Purge would be what we get and not the Hunger Games adult version, because I'm not fucking going to turn into one of those dogs, sir. I don't want to be a murderous animated dog. Okay. Nor do I want to be killed by all types of manners of ridiculousness.
Gotta have fun, man.
No, the odds will not be in my favor. I'm old and I'm slow and I'm fat. No. I'm the first person to get. I'm dying at the fucking cornucopia, okay?
But yes, Kavanaugh, since you had to distract us with Naomi. I thought that argument was bullshit. This whole, a judge rules in accordance with the law, not their personal things. Fine. I agree with that. That is how a judge ought to behave. They obviously are not picking him because they believe he will behave that way. You're obviously not rushing all this shit because you believe he will behave that way, which is another major issue in this hearing that the Democrats kept bringing up is that, why are we rushing this thing? Why didn't we have access to whatever tens of thousands of documents we didn't have access to until the last second and we haven't had time to review? They were so rude. They were interrupting this guy so much. It was half an hour of just pure interruptions. The fucking chairman is trying to get this shit on the road. Democrats are such assholes, man.
And I don't blame him because, again, what's the point? Why are we doing this so fast? Why didn't all the things that they went through with the Obama nomination compared to what they've gone through with Trump's first 2 nominations? It's ridiculous. It's dumb. And this guy is going to be there, I mean, for the rest of his life once he makes it. Which means that we have to deal with that for the rest of our lives too, because this guy is probably not going to die anytime soon. You know? Sure. And out of all the more senior people, I believe the Democrats have the more senior. I mean, I guess Clarence Thomas. But outside of him, I think everybody else in the GOP side is pretty decent, where we're just fucking praying to whatever, like, God, deity, spirit, fucking, like, demon, whatever. We're giving blood sacrifices for fucking Ruth Bader Ginsburg because she's like fucking Princess Leia. You can't die. Don't die. We can't live without you, Princess Leia. Don't go. Yeah. Like, she's like, you know, yeah, she's pushing it. She's fucking pushing it.
Mr. Chairman made a fair point about, you know, why we elect these people for life and stuff. I mean, you don't want the justices to be swayed by, you know, fear of being kicked out or not reelected or whatever. You don't want an unpopular judgment to be the reason they're kicked out. They shouldn't be ruling that way. They have to rule with how they're interpreting the laws, which fine. But again, this entire process has already been corrupted by obvious corrupt intent on many levels. People talk about how Merrick Garland got fucked, which he did all the time. Then the way these two are getting thrown up there, it's just, they really made this entire process around the Supreme Court far more disgusting than it ought to be.
Yeah.
Because what the type of stuff that the chairman was talking about is what I think is the idealized version of how we ought to treat the Supreme Court, not how we're doing it right now.
Yeah, but they're getting away with it, and it's sad. It's going to be an interesting week, because I'm curious to see how long this is going to last. I think the Democrats have done a decent job of deflecting right now, but for how long? Because the committee is stacked. The committee is stacked against you. They have a majority vote already, and they just appointed John McCain's seat to a former Arizona senator. I believe it's John Cowell, who notably was the guy who helped groom Kavanaugh for this. So it's like,
seems like the type of person who ought to, like, I don't know what the term would be in this context, but recuse themselves from such a situation.
Yeah. I agree. He is.
A lot of, you know, in the early parts, 'cause I didn't get to watch hearing itself because there was so much delay on it, but there was a lot of requests to either adjourn or you just postpone this thing so, you know, people would have the time to actually look over some of these documents and blah, blah, blah. Is there a good reason that they couldn't even have the vote on doing that? Because they made the motion many times. And the chairman was just like, nah, bruh, we're moving on. I'm not doing that shit. Fuck you. Can you explain why that is? I mean, his argument was, first of all, we're not in a, what did he call it? Some different context.
Like, say it's in a democracy anymore, sir. What are you talking about?
They were attempting to make motions to do certain things. And his argument was, we're not in the context where such motions actually work or whatever. I can't remember what he was calling it, like executive whatever. But that was his argument, is that, you know, you can't make those motions because we're not in such a meeting. And I think somebody even tried to say that, can we make such a meeting right now so that we can have the motions? And he's just like, no, we're not doing it. No, no, no. And I just couldn't understand his reasoning for why they couldn't even vote on this shit. And I think at one point he said, because I guess he was getting tired and frustrated with the interruptions, that I'm not going to, agree to whatever motions you're making. So, like, seemingly, like, no matter what. Oscar with the green hair there? Okay.
Yeah, no. The green and pink hair. She's
Hashtag repackage.
Joker and Harley Quinn all in one. Oh shit, are they gonna be a tag team?
No, that's not possible.
I see that.
No, that's not right. Lana is Naomi's tag team partner.
Sure.
They're the fucking Step Up 8 dance crew or whatever. Whatever step up they're on nowadays.
Whatever. Why'd you have to put him in the Step Up cloud? You could have gave him something. You could have did Bring It On at least. That would have made more sense.
I don't know those goddamn movies, man. I reached for whatever one I had in my mind. Sue me.
At least you didn't say High School Musical.
I'm not that petty. Shit. I don't want to wake up with like Oscar standing over me, like one of her fucking masks.
Then again, that might be a fantasy.
Until she rips your arm out.
That one. Yeah.
Maybe that's still part of your fantasy, but I only like so much pain.
I mean, would it be worth losing the arm?
Anyway, off the topic of objectifying women.
I know, like we're supposed to be like.
And out of the topic of objectifying men, I hate Jeff's beard. I've always hated it. That fucking thing he does, these weird lines he has in his beard.
Yeah, I know.
Shit drives me crazy.
He's just weird altogether. Like, seriously, Jeff.
I hate his fucking ear holes. I hate his fucking weird eye things. He's a terrible person.
He's not a terrible person. I hope.
Terrible.
He's not a terrible person. That would suck.
He's evil. This is coming from a Satan.
I mean, he may have made a deal with the devil because the way he abuses his body, and he still gets up and continually does it. Like, sir, at your age, you're in your 40s. What are you doing?
He has eternal youth.
Oh no, he might not be in his 40s. He might be late 30s. His brother. Like, see, his brother got smart. His brother's like, yo, I'm old. I'm slowing down.
I fell on my ass too many times. Also, Jeff is 41.
Oh shit! So damn, how old is fucking Matt? Jeez.
43, man. He's not that much older.
Okay, he's not that much older, but still, fuck me.
I feel like
y'all too old for this shit.
This is a good example of why there's no justice in the world. Where like Matt is getting all beat up. Like Matt hasn't done anywhere near
like
this shit.
Slow and like bulky and just like my skills have deteriorated. And Jeff is just like, oh, I hurt, but I still can do it.
I think that's the devil deal Jeff made, is that any injury he gets just goes over to Matt.
Right.
That's why he's not suffering. Like all of his pain just gets transferred to Matt instead, and he just keeps on walking.
Yeah. Nah.
That's why Matt ended up broken. Like all that pain inside his body just drove him insane, and nobody knew why. He's just.
Yeah. By the way, I need to find out what his word of the week is. It's just hilarious. I mean, quidnock. It's a fucking word. Quidnock.
This. How did you say this session ended today?
I think they kind of like pushed for emotion for it to actually end, and I think they eventually got it because it was being such a disruptive environment anyway. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. Like, really, did they even ask this guy any questions? I would like. I feel like it was more just like a debate on protesting the issue than like, hey, so what makes you think you can be like? It's like going to a job interview and the manager and the assistant manager are fighting in front of you. Like, what do you do?
There was a moment where I almost felt bad for him because I'm like, God damn, they've been saying that we need to adjourn and not do this thing, and not talking shit necessarily about Kavanaugh, but they're like, how are we supposed to fucking ask this guy questions when we haven't, had access to so much of his record? All this stuff that they're talking so much about this guy who's just sitting right there and his family's there and all this shit. It's like, I almost felt bad for this dude.
But you know what? I can understand why they do it, because keep it up. And if you could just disrupt it to the point where you can possibly get public opinion to turn, he's going to have to quit. He's going to have to remove himself. And maybe that's their strategy. Like, build up the angst and the annoyance over this so much that they're just going to be like, nah, we can't go through with this. We got to wait.
Yeah, I was thinking when I was like watching his face and just sitting through this, I'm like, man, maybe he really should just pull out of this, because I mean, you hear them, and then all the while you hear these protesters just screaming whatever they're saying. I couldn't hear them really, but there were quite a few of those protesty voices yelling throughout that whole situation. I'm just like trying to get in this dude's head, like, what must he be thinking right now? The whole country, well, not the whole country, but a lot of people don't want this. This is a very, very opposed thing.
Yeah, clearly not to them.
And if he is, confirmed, he's always going to have this stain over him about how it happened.
I guess it wouldn't matter, though, to have that stain, because at the end of the day, look at Clarence Thomas.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like he survived all of that. And more to the point, the GOP or him don't seem to mind the stain as long as they can get what they want. Which is the real sad part. It's like,
so from his standpoint, I guess it's not going to affect him just because of the nature of that role. But I do have to wonder about the damage this is doing long term to the Republican Party overall. Like, after Trump is gone and all this shit, like, you are really pissing off women voters. And they're probably already not that super keen with you guys for, numerous reasons, but you're trying to take away their rights, essentially.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the whole Roe versus Wade thing is going to be so fucked up.
How do you expect to survive if you keep pissing off pretty much everybody but straight white men?
I guess he feels like that's all he needs, though. Like, seriously.
I mean, not just him, but the Republican Party in general. You ought to be feeling like you should be diversifying. You should be trying to figure out how to reach more minority people, how to reach women more. But you don't seem to care about doing that at all. You're just kind of fine with whatever slim portion of the population you have. It just seems strategically stupid in the long run. Because as much power as they have right now, I don't know. I don't know how you can run away with fucking yourself this hard. And when you look at a Trump rally, it's not exactly the most diverse thing you've ever seen, right? Because it's like a game of like, where's Waldo? Except Waldo's like a black guy.
Yeah.
It's just
Whoa.
a very homogenized party right now. And even within that party, you're still pissing people off, i.e. women. So
yeah, it's very sad. But we'll see. We'll talk about it more next week, because I feel like eventually he will be confirmed, and then the shit's gonna hit the fan.
Civil War.
Yeah. Fucking like Thanos type levels of shit.
And just him aside, this extreme desire to just like stop abortions. That's not mostly a religious thing. I feel like the religious group religious people in this country need to take more responsibility for that. Because this, not to toot my own horn, but it's not the fucking atheists battling for shit like that, you know? Like things like LGBTQ rights that they're always trying to taking away abortion stuff. And you can have good conversations about the ethics behind that kind of stuff, but there is one group that's always trying to do stuff like that, and it's clearly the religious people who care about stuff like that.
I mean, the problem is they base their reasons on religion, which fucks up the whole like conversation for religion. Like anybody who's a decent religious person would have a hard time arguing against this because they say they do all this stuff in the name of God and this is God's will. Like you got fucking Pence, God boy, talking about he's ordained as the next president. You know, you got people who love to use the whole it's against God thing. Or like that fucking preacher I showed you the tweet of where he was saying something about what was it he said about women again? It's something fucking women are meant to serve men or some shit like that. I didn't send you that tweet. Like fucking God. Oh my God.
I've heard the argument though. It's not a new one, obviously.
No, it's not. But it's just like, yo, these archaic people like are still like in charge.
Sure. And I will grant, two things. One, you could make a more secular argument against abortions, and two, plenty of religious people, actual devout religious Christians, for example, are either fine with abortions or they at least wouldn't try to take the right away from everybody else. I grant that, but again, it is the religious group for religious reasons that tend to do this. You could make a secular argument for it, but nobody does.
Yeah, no, like I wouldn't call myself a religious person, but like I said, I do believe in God. That being said, a lot of things that I don't agree with, I'm not going to fuck people over for because it's just like the hunting thing. I'm not big on hunting. There are people out there who scream and like kick and scratch against people hunting. I feel like there's more important issues for me to scream and kick about.
I think to your point about the discussion being about religion, I would like to have a more direct discussion about the ethics of abortion, but you can never do that because, again, the people motivated to fight that battle are religious and doing it for religious reasons. So yeah, it always turns into a battle about that. That's why you have people trying to interpret the Bible or appeal to evangelicals because they've made it a purely religious issue.
Yeah, because I feel like there are some moral issues. Like I feel like, while I'm not against the right for abortion, I do feel like there are people who can be very abusive with it. I've known a couple of people who've done it like, oh shit, I'm pregnant, I'll just get an abortion because I don't have time for this. Like, you don't think about what you're doing to your body, and I question your psyche as well, that abortions are just basically like, fucking I catch a cold, I take a sip of NyQuil type deal to you.
Sure. I mean, that's the kind of thing that would be like, yeah, you shouldn't do that because one, it's dangerous to you. Two, it risks the spread of sexual diseases, obviously, because you're not using protection. There are...
Like, be a responsible goddamn adult and use some protection if you don't want a baby.
Sure. There are, sticking issues within that debate that can be had, but it's like, we never even talk about them because there's just no way.
It all boils down to the whole God is against it versus like, it's my right thing.
And even that, as a more liberal person who agrees that the right to have an abortion should be protected, and even I don't personally see much of an ethical issue against it. I would say that I feel like this whole "it's my right" argument, I understand it. It's fine. I think it's a stupid argument. It's not the point. Like, there's far better ways to make that argument. I don't think you're going to convince religious people. Like, I mean, you got to remember that their idea is that you're killing babies, and you're not going to convince anybody by saying I have a right to kill a baby. That's a stupid argument.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
There's a smarter way to attack that issue than that, but that's what everybody always uses.
Yeah. Again, I've said this before. Can't have real conversations at all. It's either like you way far one way or way far the other way. Just can't find some like way to get to the middle and have an actual conversation.
Sure.
Ridiculous. So side notes before we go off for things, there were two prominent funerals. One for Aretha Franklin, another for John McCain. During both of them, people made sure to mention Donald Trump and say some very mean things to that man that probably made him cry. I didn't check his Twitter on those days, but because I feel like he probably wouldn't respond, especially with the John McCain thing, because he already flubbed up with the flag thing and all of that. So,
to be fair, I don't remember anybody mentioning him by name at the McCain thing.
No, and no one mentioned. I don't think anybody really mentioned him by name at the Aretha thing from the news articles that I saw. I didn't watch that funeral because one, fuck, I'm watching a funeral. Two, I don't even like going to funerals, and three, fuck out of here. Like John McCain's funeral was what, 3 hours? I think. And that's reasonable compared to fucking Aretha, who was fucking 10 hours.
So we're saying it was half the time of SummerSlam.
Sadly,
Sorry.
yes.
Sorry.
Yes, even SummerSlam
had to be
that
big.
long. Like I couldn't sit through SummerSlam without saying, "God damn, this is too long." And this is entertaining me. Do you really think I was going to sit in for real? Again, side note to the side note, black people, stop it. Stop it, seriously. Overzealous like funerals is ridiculous. Like, especially for these celebrities. You already showed your ass with the Michael Jackson thing. Renting out the fucking Staples Center. You fucking do. You rented out a fucking sports arena for a funeral. I mean, mind you, I partially get it because it's Michael Jackson and he is that like huge of a star. But like this whole fucking 10-hour thing with fucking Aretha is just goddamn ridiculous. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Besides, funerals aren't for the dead anyway; they're for the living. And the one purpose where they should be for the living is to like give them their final moments to say goodbye to the dearly departed. And it ain't even about that. It was about fucking seeing who could outmatch who in speeches and all that shit. Like, god damn it. That shit was just a shit show. And there are people actually who want to like get that shit on DVD.
Shit.
Like seriously, who fucking wants to watch it? Why do you want to fucking watch it? I know people personally who wish they could see that shit on DVD. And I'm like, are you goddamn insane?
Black people like to make everything a party.
Do you know a place where you can find the highlights of Aretha's funeral? We're looking for highlight reels for funerals.
Black people like to make everything a party, man. That's why Black church is so fun. Well, not for me, but generally they do have like high energy. You got to admit, compared to like other functions.
Yeah, they do, but like for 10 hours, I'm sorry. Like you had they're literally pictures of like celebrities falling asleep.
As there should be.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do.
Also, there was a controversy. Because do you know who what's his name? Michael Dyson is?
Michael Dyson. Was he that actor or whatever?
Maybe is it Eric? No, he's actually a professor. Professor at Georgetown University. He wrote a book about Obama. He's one of those people in the lines of Tavis Smiley and that other guy who hates Obama because he feels like he didn't do enough for black people.
Okay.
So
I remember that motherfucker. Yeah.
He took a shot at Obama because Obama didn't attend Aretha's funeral. he sent a letter, but during his whole thing, he made mention like some people show up in person and don't just send letters. Like, you really, we being this petty, like you being this fucking petty at a funeral. You still on the black checking Obama thing? Seriously, y'all still on that dumb shit? What the fuck have you done for Black society, other than write a book to try to get somebody to buy it? You teach at Georgetown. How many black students you teach to? Seriously. Probably none, because it's Georgetown University.
What does he even teach?
Sociology.
Yeah.
So it's a layup class for him. You know. He thinks he knows about life.
I'm only ever used to seeing this dude in the capacity as like a preacher, so
yeah.
But she just, I don't know if he just practiced talking that way or if he was just born to be a preacher, because he
is a preacher. He actually is ordained.
No, all right. I mean, just like the way he talks all the time, as though he's giving a sermon. It's just like,
yeah, no. But I feel like that's part of his stick, because you'll respect it more if he speaks like, people find it like more, respectable, because if he's talking like that, and they pay attention.
I find it obnoxious as fuck. But to be fair,
because he be saying dumb shit. He says dumb shit. Fuck him. Like, he's dumbass. Like, no, but yeah, I found that like repugnant of him. Like, it's like, you still trying to check this dude's blackness. All right, whatever. Do something profound to me, because I don't feel like he's done anything profound. Somebody, please, out there, if you're like Michael Eric Dyson fan, let me know why I should care about this motherfucker.
He's a wonderful, beautiful speaker, and he's fucking blackest dude in America.
Whatever. Like, you're light. Somebody in your family is white. Shut the fuck up.
Still. I mean, that is childish. But I mean, why does Obama have to be in Aretha Franklin's shit? Were they like BFFs?
Funny story. Side note, I'm at work this weekend, and a customer came in and mentioned that shit, because the only reason I know about his comment is because a customer mentioned that to me. And I was like, oh, I heard he said something about Trump. I was like, no, she said he talked about Obama sending a letter. And she's like, Obama should have been there. I was like, why? It's like, you don't think he should have been there? It's like, I don't know the fucking man's schedule or what he's doing with his life. Like, again. And she was trying to make the point, like, well, Aretha Franklin is a legend. He should be there. Like, again, I don't know what the fuck his life situation is. And if it were me and he didn't show up, I'm not mad at him. How can I be mad? I'm fucking dead.
Yeah. I mean, was he invited? Was he asked? Like,
that's the thing. I don't know the fucking situation or the parameters. And if he was invited, I got to think, you got Farrakhan, you got Dyson, and you got all these other black motherfuckers who said like some fucked up shit about him there. Should he want to be in that environment? Especially since if he's there, and like somebody else at work made this a very valid point about it, is like his presence would have overridden everybody else and caused more ire than anything, because he's that type of person. He's that type of person where wherever he is, he draws the room. He gains everyone's attention. That's just how he is. It's not his fault that he's so fucking charming and so lovable. He just is. And that would have just sparked even more outrage by the people there if he would have been there. And he probably was like, yo, I'm not going to go here so this could be a spectacle about me. I'm going to fall back and go to the McCain's funeral where nobody's going to pay attention to me. Or at least I'm going to hope so, which they still paid attention to him because he's so fucking charming. He's so fucking...
To be fair, he was also asked to like speak at that funeral.
Yeah, and he was requested to give a eulogy
by the fucker who died. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if Aretha made a request of Obama to come say some shit, but
right.
Because I mean, to be angry at that, you have to feel like he was being disrespectful. It's like, I don't even know if he was invited or asked to do anything. Yeah. You act like he just spit in somebody's face and just turned it down.
Yeah, because she was like, oh, she was at his inauguration and performed for him. I was like, okay, I'm sure they had a relationship. I'm sure he has a relationship with all the celebrities who he's interacted with. But if that's the case, he got to go to everybody's goddamn funeral. And I'm not fucking going to everybody's funeral. I'm sorry. You know, I don't know the dynamics of their relationship. You can't assume that like Aretha and Obama were bosom buddies just because she sung at his inauguration. He asked her, she accepted. He was appreciative. And again, I don't know the man's life situation. Like I can imagine him being who he is. His life situation doesn't necessarily fall into that schedule. Like who knows? They may have scheduled the funeral on a day he had another obligation. You don't know. Regardless, what's the fucking point? It's like he paid his respects. You don't have to be there.
Yeah. Plus, it was without him. It was 10 hours. You said so.
It was 10 fucking hours.
Apparently, you didn't need a lot of motherfuckers there.
No, he didn't need to be there. You had more than enough room to do shit. Then you got preachers grabbing fucking young Spanish girls' titties and shit like that. Like, who fucking wants to be a part of that?
Yeah.
I don't. I just hate. I've been to maybe 3 or 4 funerals in my lifetime, and with the exception of my mom's, I loathe being at all of them because I felt like, why am I just being like? I felt like while I understand the idea of paying respects, I feel like, again, funerals aren't for the dead; they're for the living. And generally speaking, most of the living make it about make a spectacular mood to it, where it's just about them and about showing off and talking about other people. It's like I don't like being in that environment. Like I don't like being around a bunch of disingenuous fake people just showing up acting like they love someone. I don't like being on a personal level, the emotional thing is just very, very hard for me to deal with because if it's not someone who I was close to, I find a hard time feeling anything except for my sympathies for the family.
Sure.
It's like I'm there, and it's like I feel uncomfortable being there. And when it's someone who I really did care about, I tend to want to be alone. I don't want to be in the front. I had to get up and speak at my mom's funeral, and I didn't really like it, but I did it for my mom. But I hate being at center of attention. I hate being,
I was just about to say that because it's like, you said it's for the living, not the dead. And I just remembered right before you said you had to speak, I was going to ask you if you had to speak because it's like, it's not just that you're the center of attention. You're not the center of attention by choice. It seems like the people who it would matter to most are shoved in the spotlight and made to talk. They're made to become the center of attention whether they want to or not. In which case it's so why are we doing this at all? The person who passed, they don't care about this that much. And the people you're forcing into this position don't want to be in this position with you. I don't know, it's odd.
To be fair, my mom's funeral was really good because a lot of people who I didn't think would show and pay respects did, and her job honored her and all that stuff. So it was cool in that aspect. But it's I'm grieving. I'm I just need to get over this. This ain't cool right now. Yeah. You just don't feel good. But
it seems like you could have gotten all the positive stuff out of that without the negative things.
Yeah. But it's always going to be negative because, again, you're here to pay respects to Aretha. You're sitting here throwing shots at people.
Right. When
the plays.
When Sharpton did that shit, I was because he did the same thing. He's the other day I misspelled respect, And he's like, I'm gonna ask you guys to teach him about respect. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I thought this was a funeral.
You guys are grandstanding at this point, you know.
Where, you know, people, you could make a similar argument about McCain's funeral, but again, I heard several of those speeches, and I don't recall anybody using Trump's name. And to the extent that they did focus on it a little bit.
No, I mean, there was some grandstanding there. It was a lot more subtle, but it was grandstanding. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, to the extent that they did, you know, pay it even subtle attention, it's probably because McCain would have wanted them to. I mean, a lot of what McCain was doing in those, you know, that last year or whatever, the things he was talking about, the things he stood for, the context, it made sense for them to at least allude to that issue. I don't see why it made sense with Aretha. Was she like in some war with Trump or something?
No.
So why was that appropriate for so many people to do that?
Because that's what they wanted to do. Again, it was just them doing it for themselves and for like to put themselves on the platform. Because I mean, it was newsworthy after all.
Yeah. And people there shouldn't have cheered that shit. They're part of the problem because like that was not appropriate. Again, I give it somewhat of a. Again, the McCain thing, it was limited in a tasteful way, and I give it a pass because it made sense in that context. Did not make sense in the Aretha Franklin context at all.
Both of them, I find myself disgusted by. Like somebody made a great point about, like with the Meghan McCain thing. They were like, "Yo, she said some awful things about some people, and y'all are treating her like she's a hero because she made this comment about Trump during her father's funeral of all places." Like, yeah, right. No, she's not a heroic figure, or this ain't something she should be necessarily proud of. Like,
I do remember thinking, like, when I was watching her talk, I just thought, man, she was very angry about this Trump dude because she's not even like Obama and whoever. Like they were, again, more subtle about addressing the Trump issue, but she was just going apeshit about this. And of course, you know, it was her father, so obviously she's emotional. But I was like, God damn, this is a different flavor of hurt here. But you could also argue that maybe that's what her dad would have wanted.
And I don't think he did. I honestly don't. But again, we'll never know because he's gone. Mm-hmm. I feel like when I think his parting shot was, keep this motherfucker away. That's all I asked. And bring in all the people who I respect, which he did. I think that was his parting shot. All that other shit, I don't think he cared for or would have done. He already wrote his letter to talk about Trump. He already gave his words. He fucking don't need you to like co-sign.
Like how Obama did it, for example, or I feel like Biden might have said similar shit. They focused on what he stood for as far as, you know, decency and all that shit and saying we need to follow that example. We need to be more like that. It wasn't as much an attack on Trump so much as a prescription for what we ought to be doing. Whereas other people's are just attacks on Trump, the guy.
Yeah.
I feel that it's grosser when it's just the pure attack. Because when Obama did it again, I was saying that it was a subtle thing on Trump, but I guess even that's not accurate. It was just a commentary on how we ought to be more McCain-like in that manner outside of the Trump issue.
Yeah.
Just probably why it struck me as less offensive than the other things I'd heard people say around those times.
Yeah, but I mean, shit. What people like to do. And again, this is why I don't like funerals, because it just becomes about putting on a good show. And that's not what I'm there for.
I don't like social gatherings in general, so there's that. Oh my God.
All right. So we're going to conclude this podcast. We're talking about some fun shit. Now, and the title of this podcast will reflect that, because all the fucked up shit that we just talked about, there's something to be hopeful and happy about this week. Even with the president asking the Department of Justice to bend the law to do what he wants and, do tyrannical shit. Even with people acting an ass at someone's funeral, which you should be acting an ass at someone's funeral. Talking about people and grandstanding and all that shit, like people like to do at funerals to make it more about them and not about the person who passed. Even with whatever dumb shit y'all are up to in this world that annoys me. I'm sure there's a lot of shit that's happened on Twitter that I've popped off of it. There's something to be hopeful about this weekend. And that's Spider-Man.
Praise Jesus.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
When you say praise Jesus, I'm thinking you're talking about like Kevin Feige for brokering this deal. I really do.
You
made this possible.
I mean, you gotta give me a break. When I was in New York, I was emceeing for my grandmother's 80th birthday, and my grandmother is like the hyper-religious matriarch of the land.
Wait, you were an MC? I know you said you had to speak, but wait, they had you like hosting them? Damn, I would have.
Okay, so quick side note. I guess before we hop onto the real goodness,
I would have been like, God damn it!
I'll explain. So, a few days before, because it was my aunt that organized this thing, and it was like this big event with like they brought in these African dancers and people sang. Like it was this whole. It goes exactly to your point. Like it was this grand. I bought a suit that I had to wear, and they had like a dress code, like either black, red, and gold was the color scheme of the night.
Oh shit!
There was a lot
hard for your grandmother.
It was very well done. So, they wanted like the grandkids to do stuff. Like some people read poetry. I was asked to read Bible verses, which I objected to for obvious reasons. It was a couple of days before, and I was like, all right. I said no to that, so I guess they don't want me to do anything. I'm good. And then while I was going to work one day in the morning, my mom hit me up, and they were like, so can you like MC with your cousin or whatever? And I was like, what? And they didn't give me any time to really respond because they're like, we need to settle down the program now. Can you do it? Please just do something. And then the way they described it was, you're just going to read off the sheet a couple things, whatever. So I was like, screw it. I don't have time to object properly because you guys put me in this shitty spot, right?
It's for your grandma.
No, I hadn't seen this goddamn program or anything. So I was like, what's the big deal? It's a couple of events. I fly up there. I'm talking to my aunt. She shows me the program. There's 15 things on this list. From poetry readings to Bible verse readings to songs, some speech she gave, this video montage of people collected from Jamaica who couldn't make it. Like, there's a lot in this event.
Wow, they really did it up.
And so she and I, my cousin and I, split the MC things. We were introducing new things. I think the first thing I really had to do was introduce a pastor, which mildly annoyed me. But, I didn't want to half-ass it. So I was giving speeches along the way. Like when I introduced the pastor, I gave this, like, I don't know, 3-5 minute speech or whatever before I introduced him. And then I sent him up there. One of the things was I was supposed to introduce like making a toast. Like my grandmother had 6 kids or so. A couple of them passed away. So there was 4 of them, including my mother in attendance. And I was supposed to open the floor to them to make a toast. And then, to my grandmother's siblings, because, how people are, they get all pissy and they're like, I want to make a toast, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, well, I can't do that. So I have to make a toast myself. So I made this fucking toast. I made like several speeches throughout the night just because I felt like I had to. So I ended up talking and like running around quite a bit. And again, it's a very churchy thing. So I'm feeling the power of Jesus. I will say, before we get back on the Spider-Man thing, somebody asked me if I was a pastor. Because apparently my speeches were that uplifting or whatever. And apparently they didn't know who the fuck I was because I forgot to introduce myself. So
Oh, that's funny.
They just saw me as this random dude, like giving these speeches, and because of the context, they were like, "Well, he's inspiring. He must be a pastor." Which I didn't scream that I was an atheist in the middle of the room, but I thought it was funny. But that's how my holiday went.
Oh, that's sweet of you. You were the MC. That's nice.
That shit was brutal, man.
You know you enjoyed it. It was for your grandmother.
I hated every moment of that shit. I love my grandmother, but I don't like being in large crowds. I especially don't like being like the center of attention and shit. Like, and I don't feel like I'm a very eloquent speaker, so it gives me a high level.
If you thought you were a passer,
I guess their standards are low. I don't know. But I remember having like extreme anxiety over the entire day. I was glad to see my grandmother happy, but I was very pissed off going into this because I'm like, you guys signed me up for a hell of a lot more than you led me to believe.
You should have picked the You should have picked the passages. That would have been easier. Just reading.
Yes, it would have. But they fucked me because they didn't give me the chance to say no. Or it what really killed me.
You know, I feel like they did that on purpose though, because they were like, we know he's not going to do this, so we'll offer this first, and then we'll hit him with a bam.
That's what really killed me because like I'm not going to do it. But what killed me more was when I looked at the program and I saw like 2 different people doing poetry readings, and I'm like, I used to write poetry and stuff. Like I had a creative writing minor in college and everything.
No, they knew how to box you into this like duty. They did a good job. Good job, Cardiac's family.
That was the shit that killed me. It's like you didn't really communicate, like ask me to do other things because I would have been open to it. I only objected to the Bible verse stuff on, philosophical grounds.
No, that's the art of negotiation. You make a ridiculous offer first, and then you hit them with something that will be more presentable. And then you just don't realize that because in your mind it's more presentable, it is in fact more ridiculous than what they offered before.
Yep. Shout out to some random person, I think it was my cousin, for doing that Maya Angelou poem. Phenomenal women. But anyway, Spider-Man.
Yeah, so Spider-Man for the PS4 is coming out. Sorry, PC and
suck a dick, Xbox. Oh, sorry.
but Sony worked out a deal with Marvel to keep the Spider-Man license, and they put it with Insomniac, who's a great studio. They made if you're an Xbox fan, you know the game that they made. Such as Overdrive, as well as Ratchet and Clank, and as well as other games. So, I mean, I can't think of their other games for some reason. Oh gosh, it's the shooter, and I can't think of it. What's the alternate World War II shooter? Resistance. Yeah, that's Insomniac. So they have a good pedigree of quality games on their resume, and they've made Spider-Man. And while I didn't mean to see it, I saw on my timeline like quotes and stuff and scores of reviews, and it is a highly rave review. It's highly reviewed. Like people have a high opinion of this game. I actually saw one quote that said that it was the best superhero game they've ever played.
So what you're trying to say is God of War actually has competition for Game of the Year?
Apparently, which I still feel like it's not going to. But from the way that they're talking about it, they seem to feel like, yeah, this is actually going to compete with God of War. Because yeah, I mean, people are talking about how phenomenal this game is. Although I will say one, like IGN, the guy, he kind of dinged it. It got a very good score, but he dinged it because he felt like it had familiar open world tropes. I hate people who say shit like that. Like, it's good, but it does just some of the things other games do. Like, fuck you.
Like how you have to use the analog stick to move the character.
Like, yeah,
It's so played out.
There's certain things that are gonna like permeate between certain genres. It's just like action movies, they shoot or blow up stuff. So are you gonna ding it because it shot and blew up stuff?
Probably.
Like fuck, like seriously.
I mean, that's
It makes no sense.
Yeah, I would say that's not a reason to dig it. Either it works or it doesn't work. That's independent of whoever else did it before you.
Yeah.
Like if you were baking a cake or something, you know, for judges, the judges can be like, I've had this cake at this restaurant before. That would be a stupid reason to like.
Yeah, it is.
But yet it's somehow perfectly plausible for video game scores.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because it's like it's a weird place that you should make the argument that every game has to somehow completely restructure the genre every time.
Yeah, no, which it doesn't have to. There's gonna be certain things that are gonna like be a thread through certain things. Like first person shooters will always have reload, like certain reload mechanics or button mapping. You know,
it's not like they need to, but it's. I mean, people say that thing like it's, you know, a negative. It's actually a positive. There's a reason to kind of standardize doing shit like that because it makes it easier to get into other games. Like it makes it easier to play this new shooter if you've played other shooters because you can kind of trust that they're following at least somewhat close to a standard. I guess as an engineer, there's a reason we like having standards like that because it just makes it easier to deal with when you are attacking new shit. That's not to say that you can never break away from the standards, but you shouldn't inherently look at standards as a bad thing.
Yeah, no. It's not. It's a dumb argument to me. It's like I can't knock something for doing something familiar to what it is. You know, but
it sounds like the type of argument somebody makes when they're desperate to find something wrong.
Yeah, like you don't want to be that. I feel like that's what it was too. Also, it's funny because I read who was the writer, and I remember he's like a prominent guest on their Xbox podcast. So I question if there might be some slight bias, but I don't think so. I just feel like he's just being contrarian just because he needs to be. I feel like you said they feel like they need to say something negative because they can't just say like it's not perfect but it's great and
you can't give something that A plus that you got to find a reason. Not necessarily because they hate it or something, but like I don't know. There's something that feels gross to people.
He feels like you know what? You gave the greatest analogy. He's that teacher that says I don't give A's.
Yeah,
nothing's perfect. It's like that makes no goddamn sense. There's such thing as a 90% to 99%, which is not perfect. So you can give an A and still say it's not perfect.
I don't give A's, so I'm going to come up with a reason later to not give you that.
Right. Like it's that dumb. Like he has that dumb logic working for him. But hey, I mean.
Yeah, it's that job. So
which is fine. It's his. I mean, not every, like I said about reviews, all someone's opinion, so you should take them with a grain of salt. Now,
I like to think you could make them as objective as possible, but I mean, yeah, I do agree that there's going to be some subjectivity slipping in there.
Yeah. Now, with all that said, how hyped are you? I want you to tell the world because I kind of do know from our like DMs when I try to send you stuff and you just like fuck you, don't send me no shit and all that. But how hyped are you?
I mean, one, I love video games, and that's a love that I've been rediscovering over the last year or so since I bought my PS4 and like started gaming again. Two, obviously, big Marvel fan, love Spider-Man. Even though I refuse to read his comics nowadays, fuck him. Miles is the one. It's not a race thing. I'm just tired of the same old motherfucker. I mean, it looks incredible. Obviously, like a lot of people, I'm maybe somewhat hyped over the nostalgia of getting to web slinging again, like we did back with Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 2 or whatever it was. It looks like it feels great. There's just something very awesome about the Spidey experience that I feel like this game is going to capture, and I hope it's going to do storytelling very well. I would love to just like take the week following, like, you know, it comes out on Friday. I would love to take the week after that just off, just to play it. And I'm not gonna lie, if I did, we have this this meeting that lasts a couple of days. If we weren't doing that week, I probably would take that week off just for this game.
You know, it's funny because I was debating on taking the day off, like on Friday, but I resisted. I was like, you know what? I get off early and I'm off the weekend. I don't need to be there. Now, that being said, I feel like I should go and get my code at midnight.
Friday's my birthday.
Like you have, I know. Happy birthday, by the way.
No. What if my mom is like, we should do something for your birthday, and then I can't play Spider-Man?
What time do you get off work?
Like 4:35.
Okay, so here's the deal. Call your mom now, like sometime within the next couple of days, and ask her, do you guys plan on doing something for my birthday? If she says yes, be like, okay, well, I don't want anything special. We can just go to eat somewhere. Make it Sunday. Sunday brunch, early Sunday brunch. That way you won't take your whole day. Sunday's a good day to do stuff like that because that'll give you a good 48 hours with Spider-Man. You can maneuver that. It's like I don't want to do anything on my birthday because I'm gonna be working. I'm gonna be tired afterwards. So I'm not gonna really feel it. You just do this on Sunday, maybe like early, you know, something like that.
Look, like all humans, like, look, I'm an adult, right, guys?
Oh, wait, Cardiacsumo, mom, don't watch this. Mute this.
She's not watching this.
Ever watch it. Don't send this to Cardiacsumo, mom, people.
I'm not sending her some shit where I curse all the time. But I don't know. Since I was like at least a teenager, I always hated the fact that people wanted to do shit on my birthday. It's like I appreciate that, but just say happy birthday and then leave me the fuck alone. Like, you know how the day before my birthday I was this asshole that hated people and like being alone? It didn't change on my birthday, right? Like, I'm not growing out of it. All of a sudden, I'm just like this. You play fucking Spider-Man.
Oh, they doing that the challenge thing? Yeah, they are. That's funny.
Mixed match challenge, bruh.
Yeah. And they still got the Miz with Oscar.
But I'm so fucking hyped for this shit. I've been so hyped that I'm almost like numbed with hypeness. Where it's like,
yeah, like you've been the opposite because you've been avoiding everything. I've been like just peeking at all the stuff, like the hype bus thing, the hype train thing. I sat before the podcast and I watched like a 32-minute Digital Foundry presentation on the graphics because there was controversy about this game where people flipped out because they thought the puddle was a downgrade and all of that. And if you don't know who Digital Foundry is, they're a website that goes through different technological analysis of video games and go break down like the visuals, not just video games, but just like different technology. And in particular, like, you know, video technology, like TVs and things like that and quality. They break down all of that stuff. And they do a really good job with games. And they kind of dispel the myth of the whole Spider-Man's been downgraded thing. So if you're one of those people who feel like it's been downgraded, they actually feel like it's the same except for there are better nuances and details.
Well,
like one particular thing was the Spider-Man suit, which, god damn it, that suit looks fucking great. I know people had an issue with the whole white spider thing, but shit looks good.
People had an issue with that?
Yeah, when it first came out, people were like raving mad that they put that big white spider on his uniform. Like, this isn't the Spider-Man logo. That's not how it should be.
Okay.
What the fuck is wrong with them? Like, it's fine.
Have they not seen how many different costumes Spider-Man has had over the years?
Apparently not.
And they don't all have that classic Spidey logo on them. He's had like a bunch of different spider-looking things on his costume already.
Yeah.
Like, that is just a dumb argument, period.
People like to fucking complain about.
Like, maybe you could get away with that with like Superman or something, because at least his S has pretty much stayed consistent. But like, not Spidey. No, that's not. No, don't do that. He's like the last. You can even make a better argument for that shit with like Batman, and even his bat symbol has changed. So like,
yeah, no, Batman's costume has changed a multitude of times between several different media genres, not just the comic book. So,
but I mean, even just the logo itself is not the same across his costume.
It's never been the same.
I don't know why you expect Spidey to do that when I can look at a bunch of his costumes and they're not. Even on the Iron Spider suit, it's not like that classic.
No, that Iron Spider is so totally different.
So did that not bother you when you guys saw that shit? I don't know. That's a crazy.
By the way, I can't wait to get and play in the Iron Spider suit. I just so hope they do everything like they did in the movie.
I actually liked that design. It was like I hadn't really seen quite that one before. At least not that I can remember. I don't know if it's just original for that video game, but I was like, yeah, it's cool to have.
No, the one that they did for the video game is the one that it's theirs. That's their Spider-Man uniform.
Yeah, I like that, and I didn't mind because again, I've seen Spidey in so many different costumes. I was like, yeah, it's good that you guys have your own that you did for the game.
Yeah, and what's pissing people off more, I'm sure, is the fact that Marvel came out and officially said this Spider-Man is actually a part of the Spider-Man universe that includes what we're talking about in the movie. So. Yeah, he's a part of the Spider-Man verse.
When you say, so do you mean like just the MCU, or do you mean like?
Yeah, as far as the
multiverse, or
he's a part of the Spider-Man multiverse like thing.
Okay.
And it's yeah.
All right, because I wasn't sure if like in the comics they were doing another one of those fucking Spideyverse things again or whatever.
It might be. I mean, it seems like they're heading towards that. You might see this one show up.
I feel like I didn't read it, but when I was scrolling through comics, I saw something called Spider-Geddon, and I was like, oh god, not another fucking one where we're gonna.
I mean,
all these different fucking Spider-Man.
You know, this is where they're gonna bring this version of Peter in, because it is a very different universe compared to traditional Spider-Man. Because not everybody is in their traditional world roles, which is, I think, cool. That they allowed them to tell their own Spider-Man story in their own Spider-Man setting. It's like they gave them their own comic series.
I think he really is. I think, yeah, Spider-Geddon is a comic. And that's this fucking Spider-Man from the game.
Yeah, no, there you go.
He's one of the motherfuckers here.
See? There you
like go. Them, and I'm almost certain. In fact, I'm going to send you this image real quick, see if you can like verify that I'm not insane.
I'm sure I could identify because I know that logo. Like it's a very like unique.
Right there. He's like in the upper left.
Yep, he's right there. It's like that's him. That is him. Yeah. See, told you he's a part of the Spider-Man universe.
Assholes. I refuse to read this shit. I'm probably gonna read this shit.
Yeah, you know you want to read it.
I do a fairly good job of avoiding most Spidey comics because there's obviously more than just the two, but
yeah, I really always liked Noir Spider-Man for some reason. Don't ask me why.
Because he's black, racist.
Whatever. I just like the noir look. That's all. I don't know why.
No, it's a cool look, man.
I really like where most of you are into the cyberpunk thing. I'm probably more into the noir. Like
cyberpunk.
You know, people are whole because like cyberpunk 2077 people are gushing over, which looks cool, but it's like I'm not as hyped as y'all because maybe I'm not into cyberpunk that much.
I feel like if I was to wear like a skin during the game, I would like to wear the noir one because it feels like you're like this ninja agent kind of thing.
Yeah, I believe it is a part of it. So
yeah. I would love the feeling more of like just being this dude in all black, just slinging around all secret, nobody can see me. Feel like a fucking ninja with Spidey powers.
By the way, apologies for just getting you the base version because I kind of wish that if I would have thought about it before I bought it for you, I would have got you the digital deluxe version. And the only reason I say that is because of DLC.
I don't really care about that.
Okay. I mean, I'm glad I got the digital deluxe version because I kind of do want to play the Black Cat shit. Speaking of which, how do you feel about them announcing the DLC before the game, which people are having to fit over as well?
I don't care. I saw somebody say something like, this is what's wrong with this generation. You don't have complete products anymore. It's all DLC. And it's like, why do you think it's not a complete product because there's DLC? And first of all, that argument's usually bullshit because I see a lot of games that have DLC and they are complete products by themselves without that shit.
Yeah, because it's her story. It's not Spider-Man. It's her story. It's actually a separate thing to be in. It seems from how they presented it, and it's not like you didn't know about this from the beginning because they said they were going to do DLC.
It seems like a
I
dumb
feel
thing
like
to
people
be.
are like outraged for no reason because you were told.
I guess they were saving their outrage. I don't know. Why do you feel like you're entitled to Black Cat's story in the Spider-Man game?
Yeah,
I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't bother me at all.
yeah. My stance in DLC always been if I really don't care about it, I'm not gonna buy it. So why am I complaining? Fuck, I'm not to give you. If I don't want to give you the money, I'm not gonna give you the money.
I've never played DLC where I thought this was supposed to be part of the game. Like it's a missing part of this. It's not like you just stole the last chapter of a book from me and made me pay for it separate from the rest of the book. It's usually just completely extra, relatively isolated content. I don't know why people get so mad about that shit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe with the map thing, I don't know, but
if the game was like 5 minutes or something and you had to pay for the other 20 hours, fine.
Yeah, that
never happens. Well, at least not in any game that actually succeeds. So
no. People just like to fucking complain because complaining is the thing nowadays. But I'm hyped for it. I can't wait because the swinging looks so fucking good. Oh my god! Like everything looks so fucking good. The combat, swinging, like.
I wonder if I can like make my phone just like auto reply to people like wishing me a happy birthday. Fuck off! I'm playing Spider-Man. It's like I don't want my family calling and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" No. Shut that shit up. It's Spidey time. I mean, I love you guys or whatever, but it's Spidey. Shut the fuck up. Any more gamers in the family, they would understand. They wouldn't try to do things to me. And you know what? Hype as I am for Spider-Man, we got Tomb Raider coming out like 2 weeks later. It's a cool time for gaming. At least I think it's 2 weeks. I think it comes out on the 14th.
Yeah, no. A week later, you have Tomb Raider. A few weeks later, you have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Then right after that, you have Red Dead. Then right after that, if you still care about it, you have Call of Duty. Right after that, you have Battlefield 5. Something else coming out this fall too. Let me look because it's a shit ton of like someone said, this is release season.
I mean, it's a good friggin' time to be a gamer, man.
I dispute that. I always dispute that. I say no, it's not a good time to be a gamer because you're going to be broke as shit. That's why it's not good.
You're spending money on shit you love. That's the best way to be broke. All right.
Yeah, I know, but
paying
still,
bills and shit. That's not fun.
Like I just spent $80 on this game. No, technically, no. Scratch that. I spent $140 on this game because I bought it for you too, which I didn't mind because you need Spider-Man in your life. Damn it, that's what friends do.
Love you, bro. But you know how much money I spent flying to New York to like do a job?
You deserve it. No, you deserve this after your weekend. I don't mind spending the money. You deserve this. You need this. I feel even better that I did this for you.
I'm sure somebody that's gonna like make it back to my aunt or whatever, and she did be like, "If you felt like this, why didn't you say so?" Yeah, whatever.
But no, it's like this month alone. Okay, so one game I had to sacrifice, like Destiny Forsaken. I will be getting it eventually. I'm gonna get back into Destiny, I promise. But I gotta buy Forsaken, so that's $40. Spider-Man I just spent $80. I want Fire Pro Wrestling, which came out a week and a half ago. That's another $50. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I can't get that yet because I'm gonna be playing the shit out of Spider-Man, but that's another $60. See, scroll down. October, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Fuck WWE 2K. Who cares?
That's the game of the year.
No, Fire Pro.
Fucking right. Bro, special edition Rey Mysterio and Ronda
Red Dead Redemption. Bam, that. And I'm just naming stuff for me because if I go back to like launch season and go through all the stuff that comes through, it'll get even more ridiculous. They don't have the Battlefield 5 release date, but that's probably one. No, Battlefield 5 says October 19th, but they pushed that back. They need to update their site. Anyway, but if I'm going through September, like notable games that come out, if NBA 2K, NBA Live 19, Spider-Man, Destiny 2 Forsaken, NHL 19, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I think I said Spider, FIFA is coming out. Life is Strange Part 2 is coming out. Xenoblade Chronicles Part 2 is coming out. Valkyrie Chronicles 4 is coming out. That's just this month. Then next month you got Forza Horizon.
Oh my god.
You have
maybe think it's gonna be a Horizon sequel.
No, sorry. Listen to North Star, Mega Man 11, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Super Mario Party, WWE 2K19, Luigi's Mansion, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Lego DC Super Villains, Soul Calibur 6 comes out next month. God damn. Dark Souls Remastered. Red Dead Redemption. November. You have Valiant Hearts. Hitman 2 is coming out. The Spyro trilogy remastered is coming out. Fallout 76. I forgot about that game. Fallout 76 is coming out. The Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee is coming out. Man. They pushed back Darksiders. Again, I need to update your shit. And you got Battlefield 5. And then like in December, you got Just Cause 4 and Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. A lot of shit coming out.
I was gonna say I still have like Monster Hunter World that I've been meaning to play and haven't played. I'm gonna have to take a look at the Assassin's Creed game and see if I finally want to come back into the fold here. Because I was very pissed when they killed off Desmond. That's all I'm saying. And I hadn't played since.
Yeah, no, the killing of the Desmond thing is dumb. But I will say this: you can skip Unity, get shit. What is the name of the one with the sister and the brother? What came out of Unity?
That one in England or whatever?
Yeah, no, that one definitely is a good one.
I think it was called Syndicate or something.
Yeah, Syndicate. Yeah. Syndicate is good. Like, yo, that one I really enjoyed. And same thing with Origins. Origins is excellent.
But how do they explain being outside of the Animus?
They didn't do none of the Animus shit in Origins. Origins was a straight, like, its name, its title completely befitted, which was like, we're showing you how everything started, how the assassins came to be. And I believe the only thing that had to do with Animus was like some side mode shit where they were saying, "Oh, this is just a broken Animus thing," but it had nothing to do with the story or the world that they built.
I hope
It was
they
just
address
like
it at some
it
point.
was just like some type of challenge of Anubis thing that they used to do, where they would have you fight different Egyptian gods and shit.
Fine, I'll check them out. But
No, definitely Syndicate Origins. Origins is
how did they handle
really,
the
really
Animus and Syndicate?
huh?
How did they handle the Animus and Syndicate?
You were a agent of Asparago, and I think you kind of broke away or something. Like you guys were going against the grain.
But do you have like an actual character, or is it just the first person?
Yeah, you do have an actual character.
Okay, because that's what pissed me off in fucking Black Flag or whatever
No,
it was.
it is funny because I'm surprised I'm surprised social media didn't go nuts over that because the actual outside Animus character was a woman.
I'm down with it. I don't care who it is. Somebody. Because I remember when they killed off Desmond and they were like, yeah, you killed off Desmond. He didn't matter. I'm like, but Desmond was the glue that held the series together. Without him, it's just random motherfuckers in history, which is fun and all. But he was the foundation of the house. I know the foundation isn't sexy, but that's what it stands on. Like, what is the point of doing all this without Desmond's story? I don't know. I'm still pissed years later. That shit bugs the shit out of me. Oh my god. Now I'm mad. But now I'm thinking about Spider-Man, so I'm happy again. But fuck those guys.
Yeah, no, it kind of didn't make sense. By the way, why is Carmella hanging out with R-Truth now?
I wasn't paying attention. But I will say,
I feel like you shouldn't be hanging with the fucker who told you he wants to try to get into a pay-per-view by beating you.
I mean, he's been doing this like every week though. Like he'll just find like different ways to go at her. So I mean,
in ring shape because
I guess this match had to go. I mean, this storyline between Truth and her had to go somewhere. And if they weren't gonna have a match, then the mixed match challenge made the most sense. Granted, I didn't know they were doing the mixed match challenge until tonight. So,
Selena, what are you doing?
Long-term booking, I guess.
Yeah.
But real quick, I will say that SmackDown, and this what makes me think that SmackDown is the better show than Raw.
It is.
When
these stories make sense.
I mean, not just that. Like, I'm glad Selena's okay because that kick to the face she took earlier looked brutal. When we're talking, I'll see SmackDown in the corner of my eye on the monitor. Like every time I look, I'm like, I wish I could hear what they were saying because it actually looks like it's interesting and compelling. Like every time. Whereas I never feel that way on Raw. Like I watch Raw on mute sometimes because I just don't give a fuck what's happening.
Yeah. This is actually a great way to end this. That's crazy. But yeah, Spider-Man, I can't wait. Spider-Man is going to be awesome. This season of gaming is going to be awesome. How long do you think it's going to take us to beat Spider-Man? I feel like I need at least a good 3 weeks because I'm not going to want to play the story. I'm going to want to fucking swing around New York.
Same.
I'm going to want to get on the like sucking subway and high five people and like seriously, I don't think I feel like this is the open world game that like it's gonna be kind of like how I played the Batman game. Because the Batman, with the exception of Arkham Asylum, which kind of was closed corridors, so you didn't really have a lot of exploring to do. But when like Arkham City and the last one came out, I forget Arkham Knight came out. I was fucking going everywhere and doing everything, trying to find everybody. I fucking hunted down Man-Bat in the last one. I wanted to find that motherfucker. I was literally timing my swoops so I could fucking swoop on that motherfucker, like and fight him and like do all that. Like I will do that.
You're more of a completionist than me then, because I didn't even know he was in that fucking game.
Oh yeah, no. There's a place where like you run into his lab and you find out like about him, and they tell you, and then you spot him in the air once. Like he like swoops through, and you see him, and like you can chase him. Like there's separate parts of the city where you'll see him, and if you want to, you get to the tallest building. You try to swoop down because you find his notes in his lab because he has a cure to like his disease. So you take it and you like make the cure. So every time you run into him, you hit him with the treatments to eventually turn him back to his human form. It was awesome. That shit was fucking awesome because you're literally swooping through the air and then you have to like attach and grab him and you're like fighting him to get him so you can administer the treatment. It was awesome.
Oh, what a well done set of games that was.
Yes, it was. I can't wait for Rocksteady's next superhero game. And from what we hear about Spider-Man, they're gonna have to work because now Spider-Man is trying to set the bar.
Make a Super Sons game.
They're gonna make a what game?
Super Sons. Damian Wayne and John Kent.
Speculation is that they're gonna try Superman.
No, Super Sons. Look. I've learned to tolerate Clark, but that's because he has a son, and I like his son. He's adorable. Like Clark is acceptable to me nowadays because he's like a dad to like a good boy.
I kind of do want them to do Superman though, because I want them to make it work.
Sure.
Like the way that the people are saying Insomniac has like pretty much molded the blueprint on how you're supposed to do Spider-Man, just like the same way that people say Rocksteady molded the way you're supposed to do Batman. I want them to fucking make a good Superman game that can be enjoyed. Make me actually want to be involved in with Superman. You can do that. You're the greatest of the world because you're the greatest developer ever. Because I can give not a half a fuck, not even a quarter of a fuck about Superman.
It feels like it ought to at least be possible. I mean, I was watching like some Anthem gameplay earlier, and as I was watching them fly around, I was like, flying doesn't look so bad. It seems like you ought to be able to make Superman work when I was watching that gameplay. I don't know what excuse you're going to have to use to not move at super speed, but what they should do...
They should have a super speed mode, though. They really should.
It's hard to fight, though.
Like, that would be no... I mean, I'm sure you could figure out a way to put it in there so, like, you could cut the distance in traveling between places. You know what I mean?
I need 2 games. I need a Flash game. I don't know who's going to make that one for me.
Oh, I got again. The second rumor is they're not doing Superman. They're actually doing Justice League. So if they do that, think about all the people who they have to do right. And if they do them right, like you get Wonder Woman and her like powers right.
That's my second one. I was going to be like, give me...
I actually wish they would do a Wonder Woman game. Just do a straight up Wonder Woman game.
God of War style Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Give me Diana like going ham on the fucking world.
And then I don't really care.
And put the invisible jet in it. Just because. Even though it's the most impractical superhero vehicle I've ever seen in life.
That shit is a classic though.
A jet where I could see you flying through the air. Who the fuck is gonna like not catch you? Like there's a woman floating in the air. Something's wrong here.
Makes me think of that old Cat Williams skit. Like, nigga, did you know that I can see you?
Right. Like, see. So impractical. Like the invisible jet is just the dumbest thing in the world. Put it in there anyway.
But it's just that beautiful stuff that came out of that era of comics. Like how Superman's disguise is that he takes off his fucking glasses.
I put on a suit and put on glasses, and no one knows.
Like nobody, you could not make a superhero like that.
Like you're so fucking swole for a goddamn reporter, bruh. You're jacked.
This shit I like. If you could never make a character like that now, because like nobody would ever buy that, but because it was just part of his shit. Like
no, it's like you're a mild-mannered reporter. Who would have thought you could be Superman? Even though you got the fucking chest of like goddamn like stevedore, and like you look like you bitch present. like Buicks for a living. Okay, sure, you're mild mannered.
And your woman is the greatest reporter who can't even tell by looking at you.
Right, exactly. Like, she's such a good reporter. She's so fooled by you putting on glasses and a suit and tie.
Conspiracy
Again,
theory.
this is why I like Batman, though, because Batman is the one character from that era that you can make strong arguments for, like how people won't know.
Yeah.
He's a rich guy who does what the fuck he wants. Nobody's checking for him at night.
Nope, he's good. At best, you could wonder how Batman affords the shit he affords, but like, it's not obvious that it's Bruce Wayne. It could just be some random dude who steals a bunch of money or something.
Right? It's like this guy is a fucking ninja of the night.
Yeah,
He could have stolen. He's a vigilante. He could have stole that shit.
yeah.
It's not like Bruce says, "Make sure when you make my shit, Lucius, you make sure to put the Wayne Technology logo on it." You know what I mean? It's not like he's branding his shit. So
Green Lantern's okay disguise.
yeah, Green Lantern too, because you rarely see him, and he kind of gave over his life to the Green Lantern thing, so it's not like he kind of hides it. You know what I mean? Kind of like, I feel like the TV show Wonder Woman did their Superman like, which they shouldn't have. Of like the whole, oh, I work for the military, but all I do is wear glasses and put my hair up in a bun. Like, okay, sure.
They wouldn't have these fucking problems if they just went more the Marvel route, where like most people don't have secret identities anymore.
No, they are who they are. They are the thing that they are. They don't try to hide, with the exception of a few like Spider-Man, who the man fucking wears a fucking like whole suit covering up his face. So no, you don't know who he is.
I would say like a couple of them, the newer ones like Miles and Kamala, try to hide their identity, which
Yeah.
I think Kamala's is stupid too because it's just like a half mask. But whatever, I'm gonna let that slide. They care. It's like a cute little throwback, I guess. But for the most part, yeah, nobody really has an identity.
Yeah,
Because-
like Tony Stark will tell you, yeah, I'm fucking Iron Man. I'm the shit.
Goddamn right, I'm Iron Man. They have celebrity status. Like
Like, that's how I get pussy. What the fuck?
Fantastic Four doesn't have secret identities. They're just
Yeah, it's like, I'm Dr. Reed Richards. They just call me Mr. Fantastic.
but fucking yeah. Well, I was gonna say Thor, but to be fair, Thor is not a human, so it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, Hulk does. Did, at least he did. It's like, that's kind of not an obvious thing. It's like, you know, Bruce Banner versus this big green thing. So yeah, I can hide that.
And see, it worked out fine for them.
Yeah.
Granted, no, they don't really have any like regular attachments they need to give a shit about.
I mean, they do, but at the same time, it's like, you know, they involve that in the story. You know what I mean?
Most of the people involved in their lives can take care of themselves there.
Yeah. You know, like the Hulk, you know, his girlfriend was the daughter of a military person. She's in the military. She knew what she not do.
They're fine. They're always fucking around and dabbling in the superhero world anyway, so it's fine. They're good.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers doesn't have a secret identity.
No, I'm Captain America.
You could probably use one too.
He probably could. But he's such a fucking Boy Scout. He wouldn't lie. So
That's DC's problem, man. They died themselves too damn.
they're still
hard
stuck
to
in the like 30s where they were created. Everything is too grounded in their era that they were created.
The shit that kills me. Example: Superman's son, Jonathan Kent. He doesn't have a disguise either. He's just wearing glasses and shit. Like, shit kills me.
Yeah, nah.
He doesn't wear a mask. He's just a little boy. But he's still a good boy. Fuck Clark. Jonathan's the one.
You know. And to be fair, that's the probably one way where you can point out a maybe flaw in Batman is that there's not a Robin until Bruce Wayne gets adopt
He
someone.
suddenly adopts a kid, and then all of a sudden there's a
And
Robin.
also there's a Robin. But nobody, like, who's putting that correlation together? Because it's like, oh, you adopted a son, and Robin comes. You know what I mean? I feel like it's not a easy, like, find.
Sure.
Yeah. Because this kid still goes to school and does his schoolwork and lives a normal life, has, like, do things that kids do. It's just that beyond his bedtime, he's out fighting crime. So it's like, yeah, Batman is like the one fucking most explainable out of the major superheroes, like with alter ego. Because it's just like, yeah, you can't make that leap because he's not the only rich person in Gotham City that has the means to do so.
I would be hyped for those other games. Though. I would love a Wonder Woman game. Fucking.
Yeah, I think they should do Wonder Woman next. I would say fuck the Superman. I would hold back the Superman thing. Superman can wait. Do Wonder Woman. That would be great. It would be another great female character for people to play. Her powers are awesome. Yeah, but her powers are awesome.
Sure. She can do most of what Superman can do, minus the weird shit.
Yeah, she doesn't have. She's not OP, so she's more grounded. Like, that's the problem I think with Superman is that Superman is so fucking overpowered that it's kind of hard to find something to match to him. It's like they can't come out and do what's his name off the bat like they did in the movie. Damn, why did I forget his name? Big rocky looking dude. Oh shit. Remember the one who they had in the movie? Lex Luthor created him in the lab, which pissed me off.
Oh, Doomsday?
Yeah, you can't do Doomsday off the bat because that's the one enemy that you have that's strong enough to go against him. Other than Zod.
I mean, Darkseid. There's a couple.
Yeah, I mean, you
Cyborg Superman.
It's just like a lot of Superman will be just like wreaking havoc through people who can't give you any challenge at all because fuck.
I mean, I think the OP thing.
Although I would love that if they did a Darkseid one and you had Darkseid's minions, because I would love to see like his son and all of them come. Then you could have Lobo and shit like that.
The main man, but I think the thing that makes Superman challenging is just mechanically he does too much. Like even the flying thing. When I was watching Anthem, I'm like, you can make flying work, but then how do you do flying in super speed? Because Superman can fly fast as fuck. He moves it. He's not as fast as Flash, but he's
a bullet. Fast. Yeah, no, he is almost.
So how are you supposed to control that in 3D? Like,
yeah, he's the one person who can kind of catch Flash.
Plus laser vision, freeze breath. Like it's like how am I supposed to manage all this on it? You know what? That's when we need true VR. Just like put me in the space and let me do it because he just has too many abilities to make sense of.
Yeah, no, because it's funny. I'm thinking about Injustice and it's like playing as or against Superman. Like in the first Injustice, did you play the Injustice story?
Yeah.
Remember they had the like last fight, the Superman versus Superman?
Yeah.
It was fucking ridiculous because it's just like, yo, this motherfucker can shoot lasers across the fucking map. Like I can't handle like this shit is dumb. This man is just fucking like ridiculous.
It is OP. I like in Injustice 2, you know, like the beginning animations they do. He's always in those kryptonite handcuffs. And I like that because to me it makes sense then as to why you can even fight him. Because like in my mind, I'm like, if he was really Superman, he would just punch you in the face and you'd be dead. Because you wouldn't have a head anymore. Yeah. So I like to justify that he's been weakened with kryptonite when I fight this dude.
You know, it's just
even in the comic, they had to do some wild shit to deal with that problem.
Yeah, no, he's too hard because again, he's too OP, and then like I've said to my friend who loves Superman, he has no like there's no conflict in him. He's always going to be doing the morally right thing. Like with rare occasions where you have to do fucking shit like kill Lois, for him to actually gain some type of conflict. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He finds a way.
Yeah, he's such a fucking like bore of a character. I hate him. He's so boring. He's so lame.
I mean, he can be uplifting when you need that. I will say, I'll put it this way: like I read Batman pretty religiously, but like Superman's more occasional for me.
He's a slave of his time of creation. Like he really is.
But I do feel like there's times where you need it, because there have been times where I read Batman, I'm like, all right, I need something a little more positive than what the fuck I just read right now. Give me some nice, simple, goody two-shoes shit for a minute, and then I can get back to it.
I can't, because it's like I know he's always going to fucking solve the day in the perfect way. It's like Batman leaves messes. He makes messes out of his life, his friend's life, his family's life, the villain's lives. He's a complex, complicated man who has issues, and everybody he has things to be accountable for. Superman don't.
Superman's a dick. I mean, he puts people in the family.
He's a dick because he's so good. Like, yo, could you please I would love to see what drunk Superman is.
I mean, putting people in the Phantom Zone isn't nice. That's terrible. I'm just vaguely remembering some story where I think because of time travel, he saw what Zod's kid did. He's like, all right, clearly I fucked up by putting them in the Phantom Zone because they went all crazy. So I'm gonna try to find some way to work it out with these guys.
See?
Yeah, it was the morally better choice. I agree.
If it was Batman who was that's fucked up, but you're a fucked up person. What the fuck I should feel bad about you?
Batman fucks up his own kids.
Yeah. You knew what this was when you got into this.
That's why Damon's such a fucking maniac.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, there was I can't remember the name of the story, but it was in a few different comics. And should we even be talking about this on the podcast anymore? Because I feel like
they probably would enjoy the comic book.
But the story was it was a Batman that had come back from the future, and it was Tim Drake, right? And he was evil or whatever, I guess. And his whole deal was I didn't even want to be Batman. I ended up Batman because every other Batman fucked it up. Dick Grayson, he quit. Jason Todd got killed by ninjas or some shit. Damian Wayne took over as Batman and practically burned Gotham down because he's fucking crazy. And his point was the reason we all are fuck ups as Batman is because of you. You fucked us all up. So we all ended up fuck ups as Batman, every single one of us. And I thought it was a fucked up point.
And it's funny because Tim Drake is the one rational one to be outside of Dick. Dick kind of is. Dick just doesn't want to be bothered. But Tim Drake is that one guy. He is that one guy who picks up the pieces all the time. I feel bad for Tim. Because it's he tries to stick it out. He tries to do the right thing for Bruce. And it's every time he just gets fucked over.
That was his weird mental struggle. Because at that point, I think he moved on. But he's just everybody else fucked it up. Now I have to Batman. And his Batman was also fucked up in this weird, overly controlling way. Yeah. It's I'm the one who can do it right. So yeah, I'd say Batman makes a mess of everything that exists.
Yeah.
And that's why everything is so terrible. But that's just me still being sad about the Catwoman thing that I hope resolves itself.
Would you forgive her? Seriously.
I mean,
I don't know if I forget.
Sure. I mean, her reasoning wasn't terrible. It was inspired by villains who were manipulating her, but
That's a hard sell.
I can't believe I'm sitting here wanting the Batman Catwoman romance to be saved. But I was so vehemently against this fucking shit in the beginning. Fuck this guy. Now I'm mad again. I gotta think about Spider-Man some more. Fuck DC.
Yeah, I think we taking you guys down the comic book trail long enough. And I'm sitting here slightly watching the Purge TV show, which I'm gonna have to
Oh, is that what this
check
was?
out later. Yeah, it's the Purge thing. They ain't at the Purge yet. They're getting you in. They're trying to like familiarize you with the people, so when they die, you'll be like, "Oh fuck, not them."
I hope they die.
I just gonna get murdered,
They look like assholes.
huh?
They look like assholes. I hope they die.
They probably are the ones who are gonna die.
All right. So why don't we wrap up then?
All right, so really quick asides, like one to finish up the Spider-Man thing, we are doing the spoiler cast, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, when we beat it, which jeez,
I'm gonna beat it sooner than I should because I won't be able to stop because I have no self-control.
I'm off this weekend, and I feel like I should just say fuck everything, but I'm not because I'm in moron.
But yeah, do it up.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that spoiler cast. There will be another episode of His Point Her View, I think, sometime this week. I have to arrange that with Katina, so look out for that.
What game will you guys be spoiling?
That's a good question. This is why I wish she lived here. Because what I would do is I would have her like play Detroit.
Have her play Detroit. Oh, I guess she doesn't have like a PS4.
No, she doesn't have a console. Her son does, but
Oh, good enough, man. Make it. I think she'd be interested. I don't think it's like I don't know how much of a gamer she is, but
actually no, because I'm trading in what's his name, Detroit, because I want to get fired for wrestling. So she can play Heavy Rain though. I still have that. It's free.
I just meant the kid could buy it, but whatever.
Oh yeah, the kid could buy it.
It's a good game, you know. I don't know how much of a gamer she is, but it's not like a hardcore game. It's
no. Actually, if I were to introduce her to stuff like that, I would start off lightly first with stuff like Telltale type stuff. Or actually, Life is Strange is a good one.
I enjoyed that game.
Yeah, Life is Strange. Gone Home is another good one. Stuff like that.
I'm trying to decide if I'm going to buy number 2.
It comes out. Comes out later. Play the free thing though, because I hear that has a connection.
That thing with that kid.
The Adventures of Captain whatever it's called.
Yeah. No. Fuck that guy.
No, seriously, from what I understand, from people who like Giant Bomb, I think was the ones who said it. Like, if you haven't played that, if you play it and then you play Life is Strange 2, you'll immediately see how it connects. Or no, even if you don't play Life is Strange 2, you'll know where it's headed to and how it's connected to the universe. So
if I play it,
if you enjoy that universe, definitely play that.
I'll probably do it. I'm just a bit of a hypocrite. Like, you know, like when they do sequels and you have those sequels there, it's like, you know, there's always that debate about whether they should continue with the characters they had before or just use a full new cast. I usually hate whatever decision they make. So like if they don't, if they have a whole new cast, I'm like, fuck, but I want to know
how it is a new cast, but again, I think this free bit does the connecting.
Oh, then I might enjoy it. But even when it's the other way, when it's like it continues on with the old people, I'm like, no, it should have been new guys. I'm sick of these guys. So you know, I'm a total fucking hypocrite.
Yeah. By the way, I will be streaming sometime this weekend too. Maybe I should stream. I'm debating if I should stream Spider-Man or not.
Might be a bit of a dick, you know. Just saying, it'd be a dick thing to do.
Well, yeah. At the same time, I feel like people would want to see it. I'll put up a poll and see what people say. Maybe because I was thinking my next stream game might be Watch Dogs 2. I haven't played that. I feel like whatever I stream next should be something I haven't played. I have Watch Dogs 2 and I have South Park Fractured But Whole.
Fractured But Whole. Good stuff.
Yeah. Those are on the list. And Spider-Man. So I'll put up a poll. See. I wish you get to sleepy because I didn't sleep last night. So on that note, thank you again for everybody watching. Make sure to check out all of the stuff that is on Podbean. This show will be uploaded soon there, so you get the entire library there. So if you don't want to watch and see our pretty faces, you just listen to our lovely voices. Your choice. Also, check out the links to other people who support us. All our social media is in there, so you can find us in all the different places. If you want to harass us on Askfm, feel free. I keep getting like these ridiculous questions, which is why I'm grabbing my phone just to like show the more ridiculous questions.
Again, I like my questions in English. I'm just saying.
Yes, I do. Like,
I don't understand what some of you assholes are saying. So I can't
someone
answer.
asked me, what exactly do you want these days?
Questions that make sense.
Yeah. Someone asks, who's my favorite person? I'll answer that. Spoiler alert, not that guy.
I heard one that said, am I afraid to fly in airplanes, which feels kind of gross considering I was flying in an airplane when I got asked that. So creepy.
Last person I text. Why do you need to know? What are the most important lessons you've learned in life? What has happened to society? Like, what? Did you come to me for the answers to that? Oh, clearly your life is fucked up. Somebody asked me, what grade am I in? I haven't figured out the perfect dickish response to that. That's why I haven't answered that yet. What grade I am? Like, I'm in the grade of life.
Grade D for a dick.
Yeah, so.
D minus.
Somebody asked me if I was a teacher, what subject would be yours? That's easy. That's history. Fucking geek. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be like black sociology or something.
I teach pornography.
You're not going to teach us like black culture classes?
That's a part of history. No, it would be history. It's like overall world history. By the way, I have to ask you about this trailer because I don't understand this movie premise. Seriously.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so that's about it. Sorry for the extended goodbye. Hope you guys enjoyed. Appreciate you watching and listening as always, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Spider-Man.
Everybody play Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, the Reason Reborn. Play Spider-Man. Play it now.
That's my book recommendation.
Yeah, just fucking read about playing Spider-Man until Spider-Man comes out and play it. All right? Spider-Man. Peace.